Hello, hello, hello. Anybody home at the Paranormal Intelligence Agency? Calling the bunker. Calling the bunker. Where are you? Jack, you on board yet? Calling the bunker. Call. Checking to see. I don't see. Looks like it's still trying to get a hold of them. Try this again. Ooh. There he is.
There I am. How are you?
Doing pretty good. You sound a little tinny. Is everything all right over there? At the bunker?
It's good. So, I was setting up everything. There we go. Let's see here. Now I can see ya. I got a new camera, so I was trying to fix that. Let's see here. There we go. Let's try that.
Hey, there we go. There's Jack Carey. Oh, yeah.
So finally got that up. All right. So
looking good, Jack. Looking good. I'm just gonna let you know. Yeah, we got a couple more minutes to. Well, about a minute to go here, and then we'll get you running like crazy. What do you got on the plate for tonight?
Oh, we're going to be talking about missing 411 in light of the new intel we got out of Yosemite with that portal. That's pretty interesting stuff. And I haven't covered 411 in a while.
Nope.
We're going to be talking about potentially the lost colony of Mars and the history of that and where it might be. And
I gotta bring you in because it's time for you to get going, okay?
Sounds
good. Get a sneak preview. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and Jack, you are live and on the radio side, like right now. You got a player open.
What's that?
You had a player open.
A player.
Yeah, or maybe you got your mic also turned on for the camera. Got like.
All right.
Just to give you a heads up. Sorry about that. I just noticed that.
Oh. How is it now? Are we looking good?
Sounds great.
All right.
This is the Paranormal Intelligence Agency radio show with Jack Carey.
Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal Intelligence Agency Radio Live. I'm your host, Jack Carey, and we are broadcasting from 300 feet deep in an abandoned nuclear missile silo somewhere in the post-apocalyptic wastelands of the Dakota Territories. And as always, I'm joined by the paranormal crime-fighting duo, Daisy and the Sundance Kid. I'm going to try to get a picture for the crowd out there. This crew is world famous. Here we go. That is security in the silo tonight. And high above us, just today, was a rampaging, rabid, roaming, throwing a fit dog man, tearing up the town. He ate the farmer's chickens, and there's a litter of puppies on the way. So tonight's subject matter, we're kind of going to hop around just a little bit. We've got some interesting stuff this week as far as, we got fresh intelligence coming in on a couple of different fronts. At the same time, I'm sitting here in the bunker, the silo, and I'm got all kinds of intelligence feeds that are coming my way that I wanted to share with you guys. So, let's see here. But we're going to be talking about 3i Atlas. We've got some brand new intelligence on 3i Atlas that is coming in fresh off the wires from the world's top dog in the remote viewing world. And on top of that, we've got some fresh intelligence coming out of Yosemite. Let's see here. There we go. I got multiple feeds going on here. So, but we have an eyewitness that has basically put up some photographs of what appears to be the exact thing that we think might be causing a lot of disappearances in the national park system, and that is the idea that in certain areas in these national park system, all around North America, and in fact, park systems really all around the world, there are usually located in mountainous areas. It's usually in these mountainous areas that you have high quartz crystal deposits, limestone, running water. All of those things create electromagnetic fields that are strong enough that, according to theoretical physics, you could generate an electromagnetic field strong enough to literally rip a hole or tear a rip in the membrane that separates this dimension from other dimensions. That might sound completely fantastical to many people. However, it's something that is openly discussed by our physicists today, including Michio Kaku at New York University, who has talked about it extensively and written about it. And the idea that not only are there other dimensions, and this really is kind of ties us into tonight's Cryptid Corner, is the fact that these physicists have speculated openly in hushed conferences around the world where you have established academia talking about if there are other dimensions, and they're pretty much absolutely sure that there are creatures more than likely living on those dimensions. And if there are creatures living on those dimensions, at least some of them would have been smart enough, evolved enough by now to actually figure out a way into this dimension. And that figures prominently really into one of our main subjects tonight, which is paranormal in the news. As usual on this show, all these rabbit holes are going to kind of, well, they just sort of run into each other if you go deep enough. And that's really what's going on right now. We recently had the Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna on the Joe Rogan podcast. Amazing interview. She openly, publicly admitted that she had been taken into a SCIF, which is a facility that houses all of our most top secret documents, and she was shown, as far as she is personally concerned, absolute, undeniable, indisputable proof that we are in possession of alien technology. And what's even more interesting than that, she says that it came from another dimension. She says the documents that she was shown absolutely indicate that these things originate from another dimension. And so we're going to have to really... Uh-oh, that's silo security. Must be that dog man. But we have to entertain the notion that she's right, and she's not lying to the public and, taking a risk like that for no reason. let's take her at her word that she really was showing indisputable proof that the technology that they have in their possession behind the scenes is from another dimension. Think about that. The implications of that are huge, but she also went on to say that, according to what she saw, it was like us traveling back in time and leaving an iPhone with a clan of cavemen and expecting them to replicate it. That's what they were dealt with. And although, yes, they have been able to not necessarily back engineer, but they've been able to get new, fresh ideas of how to develop advanced technology, which led to fiber optics, which led to all kinds of new alloys and fabrics and night vision and bulletproof vest and all kinds of stuff. It led to a huge amount of technology that would not exist otherwise. However, it is that advanced. It's so advanced that the people that have been put into charge of keeping it all a secret are too inept and they're cavemen with this technology. They don't know where to even begin to back engineer something like that. They can get really cool, great ideas, and the Navy has developed a number of UFO patents, which I covered on a previous broadcast, which might be waiting for 3i Atlas to show up, which is another major paranormal in the news happening right now. And I would remind everybody that going back many broadcasts now over the summer, I've been talking about the Webbot's predictions. It's predictions for this summer, which it refers to as the summer of emergence, is the time when, going into the fall now, you're going to begin to see a ton of attention being put on the idea that the aliens are here. No other way to put it than that. The world's attention seems to turn towards the alien presence on this planet, and that is perfectly timed, coinciding with the arrival of a new stellar body that is being called 3i Atlas, and which is now beginning to make mainstream media that this thing has all of the appearances of an alien ship. Not a comet, not an asteroid. It's an alien ship. They think it may even be nuclear powered, and it's emitting its own light, and it is traveling on a direct path to the Earth at about 136,000 miles per minute. So that is some pretty fast travel time, and yet I speculated previously that if this is an alien ship, it appears to be using a technology which may be less than the type of exotic alien technology we already have in our possession. And if that led to the Navy UFO patents, could it be that if this is a hostile alien ship of some kind, which is also being speculated about, then it might be showing up for a real street fight? Might have a real problem on its hands when it gets here, if in fact it is hostile in nature. There's no way to know till it gets here. And with that comes fresh intelligence, which you're likely to only get on this show in this, context anyway. And that is that the world's #1 remote viewer, a guy who originates from the CIA's original Stargate program, he has a pedigree going back that far, and who has published hit after hit after hit. He has made himself extremely wealthy using remote viewing to predict cryptocurrency prices, and now lives in a multi-million-dollar property in Honolulu where he does remote viewing for clients, and you can find him at the Future Forecasting Group. His name is Dick Algier. Mr. Allgaier was fed recently a blind target. He was given nothing but a serial number. The serial number was like A193PQR2P. That's it. That's all he got. It's a serial number that the person who chooses the target randomly selects. Has no reference to the target whatsoever. He was given that serial number as a target, and he recently remote viewed it, and he has come out with his findings. And it turns out that the target he was fed was 3i Atlas. Go figure. And what did he find out from his remote viewing? Well, he states that he was instantaneously taken to the object. He could see it clearly. This object was alien in nature. It is on a path to the Earth, and more shocking than really anything else that he was able to determine is that way, way off at a point in interstellar space, this thing is being directed here by a type of tractor beam. Think about that. A high exotic energy beam of some kind is being projected to that object to get it to us. Now that's interesting stuff, considering that I also recently reported on a previous broadcast that this stellar body, basically this 3i Atlas, is coinciding perfectly with ancient predictions that the Nomos in Western Africa have, which is a Stone Age tribe that received information from a non-human intelligence of some kind, and I covered the full story of the Nomos and their knowledge of the Sirius star system, but they have a belief that the Nomos would return one day, and they call that day the Day of the Fish. And when the author of the book, The Sirius Mystery, a Dr. Robert Temple, who is a renowned scientist in Europe, published The Sirius Mystery, he was harassed by intelligence agencies all over the world because of it. The fact that these guys had the knowledge that they had and it predicted a return of these beings, a day when they would rule from the seas, had to raise a lot of blood pressure in a lot of different power structures around the planet. And you have to remember that a book like that is something intelligence agencies pay a lot of attention to. Then you have ancient prophecies pointing to a possible return of the Anunnaki. Could it be that the Anunnaki will return? You have the Webbot referring to the Elohim who were here on the planet and who ruled ruthlessly. That was something that was documented in the Bible and documented in the Book of Enoch. You have the Zulu tribesmen, Credo Mutwa, the guy who David Icke discovered, who was the last surviving oral history teller of the Zulu people from a long lineage of oral history keepers from a time when the missionaries were killing off all of their historians, trying to Christianize them and convert them, the so-called savages, into their religion. They would kill off anything having to do with their belief system or their history or anything else and try to replace that. And when that happened to the Zulu people, they had a group of men who kind of went underground, very much like a Masonic brotherhood, who kept the secrets alive, that ended up becoming encapsulated in a single surviving individual. His name was Credo Mutwa. He is passed now, but he said that there was a memory an oral history memory of a time when aliens had ruled all through Africa, and they were known as the Shatari, and they had reptilian aspects to them. Could it be that the Shatari are returning? Very interesting stuff. So we have 3i Atlas. It's headed this way. The world's greatest remote viewer blindly targets it, and he says, yeah, not only is it headed this way, but it's being directed by a tractor beam of some kind that you might see in a sci-fi movie. You got A.V. Loeb over at Harvard screaming to anybody that'll listen that this thing is an alien craft, and that it appears as though it may be connected to the alien probe Oumuamua, which he had previously detected using the facility in Hawaii, hence its Hawaiian name. Oumuamua means like distant wanderer or distant messenger or something like that. And he believes that Oumuamua, when it came through, was an alien probe. Looks like the alien probe detected what it was sent to detect on this planet, and when it did, it seems to have sent a signal of some kind to this other stellar body, this 3i Atlas, and it is headed this way, and it is the size of Manhattan. It's 7 miles across. Just today, and you can Google this, Live Science ran an article about how strange 3i Atlas appears to be. Has oxygen ratios and things like that that they can read that match no known asteroid or comet. So 3i Atlas is going to get here in November, and that's a time when the Webbot said you're going to have major upheaval change take place. That change comes in the form of various kinds of ontological shock and what it describes as being a singularity of understanding. In other words, what it's saying is that when you introduce an outside force into a bubble, which is what our society is, that bubble pops. All of the aspects of that society that's encapsulated within the bubble, like its economy based on petrol fuels, its belief systems based on geographic locational religions, things like that, just absolutely get destroyed. It's just a byproduct. And it's called ontological shock. And ontological shock is very real. And it wouldn't be that big a deal if everybody today was walking around and having conversations that you could hear out loud about the alien presence on this planet, because then they would be warming up their psyches to the idea, the eventuality of accepting that as reality. Right now, they're not doing anything like that. They will duck, dodge, and come up with any kind of excuse possible not to entertain the notion that they're going to have to change their belief systems. Anything. Because that is psychologically painful in a way that can hardly even be described in words to human beings. So ontological shock is real, and it has occurred in the past. We have examples of our own societies on this planet that suffered ontological shock when they experienced new human societies. Imagine experiencing a non-human society. When ontological shock takes place, often the underlying society collapses. You know, plug in the Maya. Plug in all the South American civilizations and many others all through history that had their belief systems wiped out right before the collapse of the society. That is what we potentially face. It's a very real threat, and it's something that the powers that be are quite aware of. we also have a situation coming out of an intelligence stream through Ross Coulthard's connections, stating that he has a source within the intelligence community that's telling him that the Chinese have made a major advancement utilizing some of this interdimensional technology, which they were able to recuperate from some crash somewhere. And that we could very well suffer a cosmic 9/11-like event where they just show up, surprise us with a super weapon like you can't even imagine, and just brings the world to its knees, and everybody becomes a subject of the Chinese Communist Party at that stage. Those are the stakes. According to the, intelligence sources that Coulthard has developed, and he is a world-class journalist, that's what they're telling him. And whether that's just fear-mongering to try to keep perpetrating a secret against humanity and against the American people as a way to cover up past crimes and things like that, that's quite possible. But it's also quite possible that his sources are telling him the truth. That's just the weird, complicated type of reality matrix that we find ourselves within. So, but this week I've had a couple of really interesting things sent to me, and I thought we would discuss this idea of portals, crystal quartz deposits in the national park system, and the idea, this interdimensional idea that it could be these portals are opening and people are just walking off into them and disappearing forever. Because the photographs I just received seem to be world-class photographs of exactly one of these portals opening up on a trail in Yosemite. And that's something I'll try to cut in later, but it's interesting because Missing 411 has become a huge phenomenon, and David Paulides has written like 10 best-selling books all on these missing person cases. We're going to try to look at that from the macro viewpoint tonight and tie it in with current events. So stay with me, and we'll get to that right after our break.
Great job. It's looking good over here. Glad you got the cam up and working.
Yeah, finally got a camera. I don't know what is up with the laptop camera. It just will not function. So, but I gave up trying and just got a new one and plugged it in, and it works fine. So
yeah. You're coming through great. At first, it was a little scratchy. It sounded like you were on a phone, and then it cleaned and cleared all up. Yeah, I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, we're good to go now.
I'm gonna see if I can find.
And if you want to take and like I said last week, if you want to take and drop some pictures and clips in there, you know how to share them that way, right?
Yep.
Just do your share screen, and folks would really like that. We're picking up some good folks in the chat room, so that's good.
Excellent.
I love all my folks over in Kick and all the other places. D Live as well. Got MC Dirty Work over there listening to us, and DK Conspiracy. Probably all their crews are in there as well listening to us.
Great.
Yeah, and Roger is restreaming us as well on his platforms. Forgot to tell you that earlier. It was kind of short when we came in, so.
That's excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, hey, and any of that art that I sent you, go ahead, redo it in your own way, and then send it back and tell, to show me what you did with it. It'd be that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them have really come out really great. I was amazed myself, you know.
No, they really have, and some of them I'm enamored with the image of the city beneath the mountains and things coming up. For people that don't know it out there, I'm an artist, and I make my living right now selling paintings. So the paranormal world does not pay much, if anything, but you can work at jackcareyart.com, and I do have work that is in galleries. So,
and Jack also does commission work as well.
Sometimes, if it's a landscape, I will do that. So, and look what! Oh, I found the document for everyone. I told them I got this document from the FBI from a FOIA request, and wait till you see it's dated 1947.
Wow.
It was days after the Roswell incident.
You might see me pop and walk away here in a little bit. My coffee's getting a little low, but we're getting close on time. But I'll stick with you through the break, and probably as soon as we come off break, I'm going to run and grab and top me off. Just to let you know. But we are doing good out here tonight. I am getting a little feedback again. Do you have a player open?
Player? Well, I'm broadcasting live on another deal.
Oh, okay. You might want to make it lower a little bit, or have it go into your headset or on one of your earpieces, if you want to do it that way.
Okay. Let's see that. Let's see if that helps.
But it's coming through really good and crisp here right now. I'm, you know. Yeah, and also, you know, those little those backdrops that you used before. You can put that on, and it'll show you in front of it.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, the camera. I don't know how it does it, but it just automatically will do it. You know, it won't show your back room, but if you ever want to do that, or if you have something that you want to put up in place of what they have, you can put that there, and you know, like a book cover. You know.
Let's try this.
Yeah, got 30 seconds, and then I'll get you back on air.
There we go. How about that?
It's gonna take a minute. Oh yeah! Wow, that's gorgeous.
It's cosmic.
Yeah, it is.
We're on the Great Space Roller Coaster.
That's right. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get you going. Here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're live and on the radio side right now, Jack.
Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal Intelligence Agency Radio Live. I'm your host, Jack Carey, your tour guide to the Twilight Zone, and I've got a voice for smell-o-vision and a face for milk cartons, and tonight we are exploring the idea that there are portals opening up in areas of the national park system, and those are swallowing people, and it's causing a big furor in paranormal land because there's tons of missing people in our national park system that the scent dogs can't even pick up. Major clue is left to us in all of that. So, but and that's called the berry cluster clue, which I will get to in a moment, which kind of bolsters our argument that what appears to be is this interdimensional activity. Now, I have to remind everybody that I did write a book called Paranormal Planet, and in Paranormal Planet, I present my unified field theory of paranormal activity, in which it states that there are only two types of paranormal activity. One is interaction of the Earth with a Type 3 society, which has already colonized the galaxy. That is a theory I developed assuming that Enrico Fermi, the famous scientist, was correct in his supposition and his equations that if you really calculate it, at least one world, one civilization, one society, one species somewhere in our galaxy would have evolved to be advanced enough that they could have, would have, should have, and did colonize the entire Milky Way galaxy. They run the show, whoever they are. And they are interacting with the Earth in such a way that they appear to be farming it. And we appear to be its prized herd. Another little surprise for whoever's come. On top of that, we've got the the Congresswoman, Anna Paulina Luna, saying that she was shown documentation that states unequivocally that this stuff is coming from another dimension. The beings are from another dimension. You plug in the alien abduction phenomenon into that. Let's take it on the premise that she's right. They are interdimensional, and then let's look at the alien abduction phenomenon. And what do we see? We see abductees coming back telling Dr. David M. Jacobs over at Tulane University over a 40-year period that the aliens had told them that they were trying to make a hybrid species which was capable of living on this planet, and that it took them 8 generations of hybrid beings, 8 generations before they were able to produce a hybrid that looked sufficiently like us that we couldn't tell the difference. And that those hybrids are neurologically superior to humans. In other words, they are able to control human action, emotion, everything within a given range. We're not quite sure what that range is, but given this premise that we're going to work with tonight, that Congresswoman Luna is correct, as she stated on Joe Rogan, I wanted to present to you guys an actual FBI memo acquired through the FOIA request, dated 1947. This was just this was, August 6th, 1947. So you're talking about just days after Roswell. This memo was generated within the FBI. And it states the following. Keep in mind, when I'm reading this, what Anna Paulina Luna just told us. Quote, a very serious situation may develop at any time with regard to the flying saucers. If one of those should be attacked, the attacking plane will almost certainly be destroyed. In the public mind, this might create near panic and international suspicion. Sorry, it's pretty. This document's pretty old. The principal data concerning these craft is now at hand and must be offered, no matter how fantastic and unintelligible it may seem to minds not previously instructed in thinking of this type. Number 1, part of the disk carry crews, others are under remote control. Point 2, their mission is peaceful. The visitors contemplate settling on this plane. Point 3, these visitors are human-like, but either much larger sometimes and much smaller in size. Interesting. Point 4, they are not excarnate Earth people, but come from their own world. In other words, these aren't ghosts. They come from a place. Point 5, they do not, in all capitals, come from any planet as we use this word, but from an etheric planet which interpenetrates with our own and is not perceptible to us. That's extremely important. Point 6, The bodies of the visitors and the craft also automatically materialize on entering the vibratory rate of our dense matter. Point 7. The disk possess a type of radiant energy or a ray which will easily disintegrate any attacking ship. They re-enter the etheric at will and so simply disappear from our vision without a trace. That's exactly what we record 1,000,000 times a day now on our little phones as we walk around the planet. These UFOs blinking in and blinking out. Point 8, the region from which they come is not, all capitals, the astral plane, but corresponds to the locus or the talus. Students of esoteric matters will understand these terms. Number 9, they probably cannot be reached by radio, but probably can by radar if a signal system can be devised for that. And it goes on to say, we give information and warning and can do no more. Let the newcomers be treated with every kindness unless the discs are withdrawn, and it's heavily redacted at this point. A heavy responsibility rests upon the few in authority who are able to understand this matter. That's the end of the document. So here you have an actual FBI memo dated days after Roswell, in which they make a number of statements that they're quite certain about. And one of those certainties is the fact that these things were coming from another dimension. So that should kind of narrow down the possibilities and probabilities for us. And on top of that, it appears as though we're living on a planet that has a mechanism built within its very structure that allows for the opening of interdimensional doorways. Now, this mechanism is referred to as the Mach effect. It's also referred to as the Woodward effect, and I write about the experimentations done by scientists in which they were able to take a mass of matter, a ball of matter, and show that as it was traveling through space, it had minute fluctuations, right? That's important because those minute fluctuations create energy, and that energy can be tapped into as a type of 0-point energy. In other words, motion can feed off of motion. You ever hear the saying, a ball in motion tends to stay in motion, a body in motion tends to stay in motion? Well, that's kind of the same idea, but taken up a level. There's a scientist out there who created what today is called the Mach effect thruster. And he believes it will be the engine for interstellar travel. So he's devised a way that you can take advantage of the minute fluctuations in a spacecraft and harness those as a type of energy. That's making a long scientific story short. Well, it occurred to me that what you have on the planet here on Earth is a massive body. It's traveling through space. As it's doing so, it too is having minute fluctuations. Those minute fluctuations are causing quartz crystal deposits within the planet to become compressed. And when they do, they become ionized. And when you ionize quartz crystal, you get it to emit electromagnetic fields that are strong enough that they can open interdimensional doorways. And you get intermittent activity between dimensions. And when you do, we describe that as being paranormal. That is one of the major sources. So, as this all lines up, it appears as though we're dealing with an interdimensional species. And I've often wondered, like I was mentioning earlier in Cryptid Corner, are there interdimensional cryptids? See how that ties in? Because if there are interdimensional cryptids, some of them may be predatory in nature, and some of them may be able to utilize these natural doorways to pop in and out of our existence and take people with them when they go. That's a scary possibility. I mentioned earlier that the missing 411 cases, which are all the rage in paranormal world because of their mysterious nature. And I wrote a book talking about all of this called The Devil's Key. It is available on Amazon by Jack Carey. So check it out if you want to do a deep dive into this subject. But in all of the missing 411 cases, if you read every case file, and I have, I've read all of the books and seen the movies produced by Paulides, but in all of those cases, one clue really sticks out to me, and that's from the what's known as the Berry Picker cluster of missing people. So an inordinate number of people who have gone out picking wild berries have disappeared, vanished without a trace. No scent, no body is ever found, nothing. They're just gone. They just vanish. And that's interesting, right? Because of the commonality of the berries being present. But in all of those clues, in this berry cluster grouping of people that went missing, there's one really important clue. And that was a family, a mother, father, and a young boy who were picking berries. And the young boy kind of wanders around some trees where his parents can't see him. And they hear him begin to scream or yell, and then it sounded like it got muffled. They ran right around that little group of trees that was just feet away, and he was gone. He's never been seen since. Nobody's ever been discovered. He vanished without a trace. Scent dogs couldn't pick up the scent. And I argue there's only a couple of things that can cause the muffling of a voice. One, I suspect, is a hand that went over the mouth, possibly like a Sasquatch running off with the child. Two, the child stepped off into another dimension and it just sucked him in and he was gone in an instant. And after the photographs I received from Yosemite today, where the largest cluster of missing people actually has occurred, is in Yosemite National Park, it's very interesting. What are the odds that what was photographed on that trail, which appears to be a portal to another dimension? I mean, you couldn't come up with a better image of what would look like a portal to another dimension on this trail. What is the possibility that that's not the thing responsible? In other words, I mean, how many different kinds of homicidal paranormal activity could be taking place in a park that has more than one source? That's the question you have to ask yourself as an investigator, because, if you've got portals opening and you've got your physicists telling you that things live on those other dimensions and that it's quite possible they figured out a way into this one, and you've got an FBI memo that's saying that that's exactly what's happened, really, the math is beginning to add up in a very interesting and unexpected way. So I can elaborate a little more on the FBI memo because there have been some ufologists out there like Dr. Jacques Vallée who have come across some documentation that states that when we detonated our first nuclear bombs, the testing that we did in the desert Southwest actually damaged this other world that these, interdimensional aliens live on. In other words, it's like we share the same point in space, but they're just one dimension over. But when you explode a nuclear weapon, there's something so powerful about that it actually can cause damage on the other dimension. And that's what happened. We blew up something here, it damaged their world here. Now they've come into our dimension, to this planet, looking to colonize it as peacefully as they can, and they feel like they are entitled to do so because us dumb cavemen damage their world. That's the scenario that plays itself out. Given that, them jumping over from this other world means they had genetics that were fit for that dimension. So what do? They begin to study our genetics. They begin to mix the two. They begin to come up with so-called soul containers, which is what they refer to them as, that can sustain living on this plane of existence. They then come up with an entire breeding program of hybrid creatures, and they are introducing them into our society. That is clear from the alien abductees that have come back and have given us their testimony. So all of this is playing out in a very much like an X-Files type of episode, and yet it's all real. Now, how many people in your life right now that you can think of in normie land with the white picket fences and all that would even begin to entertain the notion that all of that is real? Because until they do, they're setting themselves up for severe ontological shock. An ontological shock they will not survive. The human species is a delicate thing. Human society is even more delicate. And we live in a carefully constructed illusion. It won't take much for that first domino to fall. Not much. And so we find ourselves again back at the Webbot prophecies, and we find ourselves again back to the summer of emergence. We find ourselves back to this whole prediction that the money that has been used to keep all of this a secret has basically dried up, and you're beginning to see whistleblower after whistleblower after whistleblower show up. And the people that were being compensated to keep it a secret are slowly not being compensated anymore. That is the actual on-the-ground mechanics of what ends up causing disclosure as it is predicted by the Webbot. The secret machine runs out of money, and when it does, it stops the secrecy. That's really what it comes down to. But at the same time, we appear to be living in a self-revealing ontology. In other words, the universe shares a relationship with every species, including us, and is intent on revealing itself and its true nature to those species. We are included in that, and we have to remember that from an ontological, universal point of view, the great creator, if you will, the architect of this reality matrix, put us in a position to acquire exotic technology from another dimension that over time is going to leapfrog our species in a way that nothing else ever would. It will turbocharge our species evolution in a way that nothing else ever could. And it could very well be, because the nature of the universe is one of seeking out so-called novelty. In other words, what the universe wants, what the creator of the universe wants, is exotic, new, unique experiences. It will do whatever it takes to acquire those experiences. And it doesn't much care about what happens if a world gets destroyed here or a species there or whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is that new, unique types of experiences for life are experienced within this reality matrix. And yeah, that touches on philosophy and all kinds of things, but like I said, these rabbit holes get pretty deep. You have to remember, we are in the upswing of the Kali Yuga on the Great Space Roller Coaster. And the upswing of the Kali Yuga is an interesting thing. You know, the Kali Yuga is a cyclical thing that goes back to Vedic astrology, and it shows planetary cycles. You can think of it very easily like the Earth being over here, and there's a cloud of debris over here, and that debris is blocking us from our galactic center, which is a huge amount of mass, right? It also emits a signal every so often, this galactic center, that goes out and it affects life on all the planets. Well, this debris is blocking us part of that time, and every time it blocks us from those signals, we end up going through a downswing, which leads to dark ages. It leads to devolution instead of evolution. It leads to a downward swing of human society altogether. You come back around, and our planet's going like this, up and below the cloud. And every time it pops up, it gets beamed by those rays. And every time it pops down, it gets beamed by those rays. And when you do, all kinds of wonderful things happen. The human species goes through a blooming, a burgeoning, a golden age where we would think of humans as being almost superhuman. Think of it as the species, again, acquiring super intelligence, super strength, super abilities that are all emanating from the special signal that comes from the galactic center. That's what we have to look forward to. But in the interim, we are going through a very turbulent period that has a lot of danger. So if we can make it out the other side with our wits intact and without dying from ontological shock, we're going to be hell in this universe. So we're going to be a species that will have to be contended with. So that's the interesting and exotic situation that sets itself up for humanity, and that's the novelty that we're about to give the universe. And join me next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, and we'll explore another deep, dark rabbit hole. Stay tuned for the wonderful Nancy Planeta and Vixen's Vault. I'll see you then.
Great job, Jack.
Thank you.
Let me disconnect one of the radio stations. Once we do, I'll take and get us over to Nancy here in a little bit. It's a little too early for us to connect right now. Here we go.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got to give the station, one of the stations, the heads up that we are clear and they are good for to take off over there. And all right. Yeah, are you going to come over with us on Nancy's show?
Yeah, I always listen in and try to put in when I can, but I kind of do some stuff around the house while I'm listening. So
yeah.
But
I don't blame you, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty good tonight from what I'm gathering. So we got, I think she's gonna have Phil Summer in tonight too.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Phil's gonna be in or not. I talked to him earlier, He was trying to get a hold of Nancy, so I'm not quite sure about that. But he's a pretty good guy. He's been on a lot of ghost hunter shows, and now he's exploring other areas of the paranormal on the conspiracy side. So,
Nice.
yeah. Well, Jack, I'm going to head on out of here on that, and I'll get this up and out like I always do. So
Awesome,
I'll catch
sir.
you over in the other group. All right?
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, let's get Vixen's Vault up and running. Where are we at? Where are we at? We got to add the peoples. 1, 2, 3. Unless he's changed his
No, because he already, I told him to jump on Teams,
yeah.
and then I made sure he messaged me on Teams, so he's on.
Okay. I didn't see him light up. Okay, hold on here. Still working on that while I get your other stuff going. Oh man. Okay.
Vic, I didn't think you were coming on tonight.
I'm not. I'm just going to listen.
I'm not. Oh my God.
I've been losing my cookies today. You don't want me to,
Oh.
Yeah.
In addition to the other stuff. So but our pet said, well, you could, I said it was a good topic.
I'm working on trying to get
listen.
Phil in with us.
Okay, cool. No,
Who's
actually,
the
yeah,
speaker?
well, I've got Phil coming on. He was on the Hornet last week, and I think he wants to be able to talk about it a little bit, and I'm fine with that. That works into the paranormal side of things, and he and I've been going back and forth about what's going on currently politically.
I'll send him the link, and then he can just join.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
All right.
Hi, Jack.
She said,
Hi,
Ah,
Roger.
crap.
she
Man.
said cookies.
I am.
She lost her cookies.
She lost her cookies.
Yeah,
So
and
no
that's-
Mark Edworthy tonight, huh?
Well, I don't know where he's been. He got all
Okay, well,
he got all
anyways,
lazy and
There
shit.
you go. Hello, everybody. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Roger.
Hey,
Well,
Jack.
Mark.
Let me get you going.
Yeah,
You
those
got like
English
30
people
seconds.
Okay. Just make sure Phil knows not to talk when he gets in, because
I haven't been able to even. I'm bouncing around. I haven't even been able to get that far yet. I'm
Okay.
looking for Jason right now and trying to get Raph to take and come in. I don't think David Campion's coming in tonight, right?
I thought he was. He got
I'll
a hold of me on
try.
Facebook and told me Edworthy wasn't.
Here's Jason. I'm trying to get Jason in with us. No, he just bumped out. I'll 3, 2, 1, and you are live right now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Vixen's Vault. Today's date is Wednesday, August the 27th, 2025. It's been a very interesting day, as most of you know. Anybody who's got a radio, television set, or, any type of communications device that was on would probably know the occurrences that happened today, especially if you live here stateside. You would know that we had another shooting, although this one I would actually qualify as a mass shooting, because it was, I believe, all said and done, 19 people were shot. Children, actually, mostly children, were shot, and of course, sadly, 2 die. And I would like to say, God, I don't even know if my condolences actually wraps it up. What do you say to a family that's lost an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old? What do you say? I don't think there's anything that you can say, except, God love them. They're in a better place. And my God, we all feel your loss with you, just nowhere near as much as you're feeling it. And that's just horrific. But yeah, I figured, I don't like normally starting with that type of news, but it was a really big event today. And of course, it wasn't handled very well by the local government, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do, folks? We live in a very crazy society right now, and the rules don't seem to apply to everybody equally. And that's becoming very, very, very clear as time is moving on, as this would be the 5th mass shooter in the last several years that was actually a transgender. So you would think that they're going to kind of get the idea. And I guess my question was, as a person who's with somebody who actually is a firearms instructor, who's literally licensed through the NRA, my first question was, how are these people getting firearms legally? Because if you are a transgender and you embrace that gender dysphoria is a mental illness. You cannot get a firearm if you have a mental illness diagnosed. You can't. Trust me, I dare you to fill out an application, and where it says, do you have a mental illness? You put yes. See what happens. So either they lied on firearms applications, or, again, something's not right. Just not right. Now, I know when I did ask Raphael about that earlier tonight, he did say to me, well, they may not have even put anything down because there's no way to really check. I mean, go ahead.
It's not just that it's not, it doesn't matter whether they indicate it or not, but it's got to be medically diagnosed, and they have to be a danger to themselves or others. And unless they're talking about, committing, self-inflicted or doing unto others, they really can't DQ them on that. So yeah, is it a an oversight or whatever? But yeah, maybe. But the reality is, you just can't restrict everybody's rights, overly restrict everybody else's rights without overly restricting yours.
That was, that's kind of interesting you said that, because you're right in that respect. But I do kind of question certain things, because I think, if you've had a felony charge, and that could be a white collar crime, it could be pretty much, anything, that restricts you from buying a firearm. You cannot buy a firearm if you've had felony charges.
I am just going to be. I'm just sorry, Nancy. I'm just going to be devil's advocate for a second, as I usually do. It's the entire transgender mental illness thing. It's quite contentious at the moment.
Well, that's even if you're doing the fad thing, because I think a lot of the young people are doing the fad thing. It's the way to annoy their parents and get attention. Every generation has a different, like our generation, it was goth. I mean, there's always that clique that gets created that just wants to rebel and annoy the crap out of their parents any way they can. I think some of it is that, but I also think we have a medical community that should 100% be hung and held responsible for a lot of this. In fact, it was somebody, one of the radio shows I was listening to today actually brought it up, and I agreed with it 1,000%, because when you are in the medical fields, you take the Hippocratic Oath. You take an oath to do no harm, to only help. That's all. It's very similar to the Wiccan oath, the Wiccan Rede. It's do no harm. And yet, doing transitional type surgeries and, oh my God, maiming children, that's harmful. There's no helping that. Just to placate their emotional instability, which they all are at that age. It's wrong on more levels than I can say, and I don't see how it does not violate the Hippocratic Oath. It absolutely does. So, but to me, they've created this problem, them and and psychology, to be very honest with you. It seems that that's a very forgotten thing, and I never hear them talk about that in the press, how the psychologists are kind of reshaping the rules of society to fit whatever fantasy land they're smoking. Because they are the ones that back this in many ways and say, oh, well, maybe gender dysphoria is not a mental illness. Oh, I'm pretty sure if you think you are the wrong sex and you are determined enough to mutilate your own body to prove it, yep, pretty sure you got some mental illness going on. So it's.
Can
Go ahead.
I jump into that? I know I've harped on this before, and one of the things that I keep harping on is that we've abdicated personal responsibility, and we have created so many safety nets to protect ourselves from ourselves that we have allowed Darwinism to go by the wayside. There's no longer survival of the fittest. It is, we're coddling the weak and then bringing them into society with all the same rights and expectations as you do everybody. There's at some point, those people that want to go should be allowed to go without some kind of stigma. I know I'm probably not in the majority in that, but again, I think that, I don't totally disagree with the globalists about overpopulation. With that, I think we didn't prune the tree enough, and it's gotten weak over time. And, maybe some of these people, should, basically.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm trying to say? I don't want to say it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. And you're trying. Wow, I really have to thank you for that, because you're actually trying to not be Pinochet on the show. Oh my God, it's a first. But that was very nice of you. I guess my question
there's always the wood chipper.
So God. But again, I'm thinking to myself, even the mayor's response. Okay, to me, there should be a comeuppance for that type of response, to sit there and say, everybody needs to support the transgender community. Maybe it's just that we've had it shoved down our throats so hard, and so unceasingly over the last, 5 to 10 years, that it's just gotten to that point where you just want to throw up every time you hear something like that, because it's like, listen, nobody's saying they're not human like everybody else. Of course they are. And nobody's not saying that, some of them might be partially stable, but there's no way you're stable when you think you're living in the wrong body and you're determined enough to change that by putting hormones that don't belong there, or physically having surgery, cutting off parts of your body. That there's something seriously wrong with that. Mutilation is like messed up. But to have a prime political figure sit there and hem and haw and basically tell people not to pray for these families because, it was gun violence. Yeah, it was gun violence, but I'm just going to once again point out, there are laws in play to prevent people like that from getting guns. So you might want to deter. They keep wanting to make more laws. This is the platform they're going to run it on.
Are you talking about what happened on news today?
What, hon? Say that again.
Were you talking about what happened earlier?
Yeah, we're talking about the shooting and the response that has come out of it, and the failures along the way. I mean, and I'll be the first one to say, I think the actual shooter was failed in some ways. The children of the school were failed, and I know somebody made the comment that, where was the security? Well, okay. Number one, it's Minnesota, so yeah, there's that. But number two, I mean, one, I'm sure the school had security. They weren't in school. They were in a Catholic church. It was a mass. And I can tell you for a fact, because my family is Catholic. Yeah,
it was a church shooting, not a school shooting.
Well, no, it was the kids.
I can tell you.
The school was having a mass for the children. So the kids had, and they do that. I went to Catholic school. You know that, Rafi, for 8 years. And on certain days, the whole school goes to mass. It was just the way they do it. But in Catholic churches in the United States right now, you cannot have a gun inside the church. You can't. So
they do have marshals that do have that do carry that people don't know. They're not knowingly, but they do have those people there because there's even in the Charleston AME you know,
Phil, you're going in and out.
You're
there
breaking
was
up,
somebody
Phil.
there that had a pee-pee. You know, so they're just, oh, I'm breaking out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Phil, you might want to
Can you hear-
reboot your
can you-
system.
can you-
I'll fill in on that too. And going back to this personal responsibility thing, the whole idea of restricting gun sales is inherently problematic because you're giving the power of the government to restrict gun sales. Period. That violates the Second Amendment right. The reason why we have the problems the way we do is because we've allowed the government to set conditions on allowing us to exercise our rights that were not envisioned by the founding fathers. They created. The studies show that there's on average the U.S. Population commits 4 felonies a day. Everybody commits 4 felonies a day without knowing it, and that allows for the government to do selective prosecution. I mean, you got to go back all the way back to at least Jim Crow laws to see how they're using lawfare to weed out segments of the population from being able to vote and being able to own firearms. That is, being able to vote and being able to have firearms is power. It is political power. It is power of the people to hold their government in check. But the minute you start restricting it for whatever reason, you can Hegelian dialectic all along create all kinds of problems in order to justify those kinds of solutions.
Yep.
But you got to let it go and just let them. Everybody's just going to have to take their hits on for their own actions. They have to take responsibility for it instead of applying these wide swaths, basically of restrictions on everybody else.
I agree.
That's the problem.
It's funny because even, like I said, even with the shooter, I do have a certain amount of sympathy for the shooter. And I know there's people out there that's going to disagree with me there.
Too.
Because, again, it's a kid. Well, he was 17, cool. I guess, when he came out. I mean, he's putting all sorts of, hormones in his body that don't belong in a male body. And I'm going to make that science point right there. I know people say, well, it's their choice. It's their this. Let me tell you guys, there are anatomical differences between women and men. And when you put an overabundance of female hormones into a male body, those female hormones are literally made to be in a female body. Why? Well, we carry more water. We have differences in our anatomy that allow those hormones to work correctly in our bodies. Not so much with the male anatomy. And it's the same thing going the other way. Men, when you start putting testosterone in females, you got problems. And it messes with your neurons. It messes with your, oh my gosh, your nervous system, everything. So to sit there and tell me that somebody who's a treated trans, in other words, somebody who's going through transformation, is okay, I will cut your legs off at the knees and show you the medical documentation that shows there's no way they're okay. There's no way. Physically or mentally, they're not. It's not possible. So unless they're like hermaphrodite and they've got
a question, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a question.
Ask.
Say to pull one of these.
Phil, you're cutting in and out. I can't.
Pull dies, right? Whether they're male before they're whatever. Will their ghosts reflect what they changed into, or will their man?
No, they won't. That's the thing. If you dig them up in 50 years,
I'm out in the country.
I was going to say, put it this way, when you dig up graves from, let's even say 1,000 years ago, because I'm again going to put this out there that this is not the first time society has done these things, because not maybe down to the surgery, but I mean during Roman times and Egyptian time, you had eunuchs, it was like the Hellfire Club on crack in those times. I mean, the sexual hijinks were crazy. But if you dig those bodies up now, you can definitely tell who's male and who's female at birth. because even if you
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, even if you cut off appendages or, breasts or whatever, it doesn't matter. Your structures, your internal structures, your bone structure, all that, it's either male or female. Men have an extra rib. I mean, there's things that, again, define you as male or female. And it doesn't matter how much you do to try to change that. You're not really changing it. And like I said, God help them if crap hits the fan and they can't get their hormones, because they're going to go right back to what they were.
Could I go over a quick statistic?
A quick what?
This is in terms. Quick statistic.
Yeah, go ahead.
In terms, right. So this is in terms, and good evening. How is everybody? Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's well.
My love.
Yeah. So this is the number of school shootings per president since Reagan. And what I'm getting to on this is just how, just let's go over this for a second. So Reagan, 11, respectively under Reagan. George W., the Poppy Bush, 12. Bill Clinton, 23. This is not just school shit, but mass shootings, school shootings, right, where somebody crazy, had no reason to do it. Okay. Boy George, 20, respectively. Okay. Then we get to Barry Soetoro, or Obama, Barack Obama. 100. You ready for this number? So far we have 11 under Reagan, 12, then Bill, 23, then Boy George, 20. Okay, so 23 was the highest under Bill. You ready for this? You want to know how many under Barry Soetoro, aka Obama? 162. And keep in mind, the 49, because that was quite a lot that supposedly died at the 91 fest in Vegas there. That was not under Mr. Soetoro, aka Obama's watch. That was under Trump's watch. So 162, not including Vegas. And just having known that some of those things were operations that were very different, it just makes me want to take more than a day just to see what's what. I like to take 3 or 4 days just to see what's what.
Hold on, because you and I know this, because we've had this discussion on the show before. And by the way, folks, I didn't do it at the beginning. It was very remiss, but I'd like to welcome my panel. I have the same panel every week. I know I have some newer listeners on that are actually, because I advertise a little bit more on Facebook. In fact, I got to jump in that chat because I feel like an idiot right now. But Jason, who's new to our show, he's been on with I think probably maybe a month and a half, 6 weeks now. Incredible addition to the show. He's right up there with the rest of us when it comes to the conspiracies and researching, and just tired of watching the Hegelian dialectic play out over and over and over and over, and watching people fall for it every damn time, and watching the chaos that it caused. So he's great addition. I've got Phil. Go ahead. Phil, you've got to do something with your mic. I can't. You are breaking up horrible. Oh, okay. I think I've lost him.
I just fixed the mic settings.
Okay, I've got Mark Edworthy, who's over in England. Mark has been with me since I transitioned from Cafe Enigma to the Vault.
2 years now? Must be.
There you are. There you are.
Yeah.
I mean, he's our flair from overseas, and it's fun because Mark doesn't see eye to eye with a lot of us here.
Noise suppression was on. Is it better now?
A little bit.
Buddy, your problem isn't noise suppression. Your problem is your connection.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm out in the trees.
Okay. Alrighty. So we've got Mark, who's, I like to say Mark is he's our reason why we brainstorm on the show, because he'll have a counter opinion. And then everybody's like, well, wait a minute. Hold on. But it brings a lot of balance to the show. And Mark, as always, thank you for jumping on with us. I love it when you're here. I've got Vicky, who's staying quiet tonight. I'm going to respect that because Vicky's been having issues with the stomach all day, so she's here. But Vicky she's another Anon that I met years ago. When it comes to theology and when it comes to looking at the situations that are occurring now, I don't think you get much quicker on the draw than Vic. And I love having her here, and she's just a great addition. I've got Roger Dodger over there. Roger is my go-to guy. You want to talk ancient occult? Man, there are not too many people I know that can come up with things that Roger can come up with, and it's absolutely accurate. And he's put a lot of thought into a lot of this. In fact, he's got some of his own programs going on now that I'll key you guys into at the end of the show because it's really incredible. Tonight I've got Raphael, and of course, as y'all know, Raphael is my significant other. Raphael worked for the federal government and served in the military, and he's right up there with us when it comes to conspiracies. But he is my Pinochet guy, as I like to say, because his solution to everything is just Pinochet. Just take them all up in a chopper and throw them out. just flat, and we're done. Then I've got
give me a Thanos Infinity Glove. I'll take care of it.
The Infinity Glove. Oh no. And then tonight we have Phil Summers joining us. Now I've had Phil on previously, and I know Phil from the Paranormal for years. I mean, he was Paranormal boy for a long time. Actually, Ghost Box boy, if I remember right.
I was
Phil,
like 18 then.
Yeah, I know. God, shut up, Phil. Just shut up. We're not going to go over age. But Phil was out on the USS Hornet last week, and I do want to talk about that with him later in the show. But guys, first, I got to take us out to our first break of the evening. When we return, we're going to talk about this a little bit more because it was kind of a little bit discombobulated there trying to get Phil's audio right, and it sounds much better. Hang in there, guys. We'll be back with the Vixen's Vault in just a few moments.
All right, we're on radio break, and wow. We're on time.
Is it okay for me to fart now?
We're on time.
Is it okay for me to pass gas now a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by all means.
Yep.
You sound a lot better now, Phil.
Yeah.
Sorry it took a while to get you in. I didn't have issues with connecting stuff until just a little bit ago, and then I'm like, oh no, I had this on manual. I should have had it on auto. Oh no, get the stations back. I'm like, oh no, not that. And we didn't have you or MC, so I'm like, hold on. I'm juggling some stuff.
I'm trying to get.
Well, everybody's here. Hey, MC, how's it going?
Hey, I'm all right. No complaints. How you doing?
Not too bad.
All right.
That was a good point, by the way, my MC, about the mass shootings and the numbers. Although I don't count Las Vegas because Las Vegas was a government thing. That's
right, especially because we were just talking about the Smith Modernization Act last week, HR 5736. You know,
where did Phil go? Oh no, did Phil leave? Here he is. I got him back in the. There he is.
Yeah.
There you go, Phil. Looking good. What? Rafael Martinez dropped out. Now he's back. Look out, cats, dogs, and kids. Yeah, hey, I even had Jack Carey using his camera tonight. Look out.
I saw that. I did see that. I was like,
and
wow.
You got to see Daisy and the Sundance Kid patrolling the bunker.
Nice.
It's looking good, Phil. You're on mute. That's all right now. Mark, man, I missed you too, buddy.
Cheers.
Yeah, because Roger keeps
my camera's on point. If you see it, how good my camera is.
Roger keeps Roger keeps telling me I'm a beautiful guy, and I'm like,
Oh,
stop that crap.
You're a beautiful man. A beautiful man.
You know, Mark, they say bald-headed guys are way more sexier now in 2025. Have you noticed that?
No,
You
no,
ever
no,
heard that?
no.
Feel good.
Yeah,
Jason
that won't
Jason
work.
Statham,
It's
Dwayne The Rock
just.
Johnson.
I'm just going to tell you.
I think he's on to something.
Take it or leave it. You know, baldness is a sure sign of wisdom, because we have all the experiences that have caused us to lose our hair, that have gained that through experience.
No,
okay?
you worked at a factory with a lot of
No. I actually started losing my hair when I was 16. So yeah, and I have as much now as I did when I was 22. Yeah, 21 or
gentlemen.
22.
Maybe it would be those 12 kids.
I'm not human. I'm not human. That's right.
He's got like 50 kids.
But I'm not a reptile either, though.
You imagine, I mean, if I had all the kids he did, man, I wouldn't have any hair, dude. My beard would be gone, everything, dude. I was like, oh my God. How many kids you got? Like 20?
7.
That's
okay.
Not 27, just 7 kids.
7.
I'm not a reptile.
I have an idea. Hold on. Before we go back on air, I have an idea.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Mark Edworthy, you're going to do Locks of Love for the other Mark. We're just Locks of Love. That's what we're going to do.
Locks of love. Locks of love.
Yeah, she's inventing stuff and shit. Oh my God!
You know, I have this Slenderman animation, and it says Slender Chance, man.
That's him trying to be rebellious. Check that out. He's trying to be all
Anyways,
rebellious.
here's your countdown: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are alive and on the radio side right now.
Welcome back, folks, to the Vixen's Vault. Again, today's date is August the 27th. We are almost out of the month of August. Can y'all believe it? And it has been a red hot August this month. It's been, nothing short of a bazillion things happening at one time, including weather. But almost out, guys. We're almost in September. And guess what's after that? October, which is, of course, my favorite month. I love Halloween. And speaking of that, really quick, I'm gonna self-advertise here for a moment. We will be doing the broadcast again this year for the May Stringer House, closing in the week before Halloween. So y'all get to see a real haunted house. And it is haunted. Believe me, I've investigated there multiple times. And see the community in Brooksville, Florida, which is quite a lovely little community. It's a really neat thing to do. I love going there, and I loved doing the event last year. We had a lot of fun doing it. All right, with that, we're going to continue back into our discussion, which was, of course, actually, Jason, or MK, was making a point about mass shootings and the amount of noted mass shootings that we had under Obama. And when I say noted, I'm saying the ones that were actually statistically entered in as a shooting. Because there is something, I don't know, Jason, if you've noticed it, but there's something that's occurred over the last 20 years where it seemed like, because again, it is, all of this is part of a gun grab. And I will put that out there very clearly.
Yep.
I think a lot of these situations they're put into play. We'll call them, you can call them a false flag, you can call whatever you want. But they're situations that are either exacerbated or put into play just to bring attention to the fact that we are armed and to try to remove our arms. And I think Sandy Hook would be a perfect example of that. I mean, I think that was a push to try to federalize law enforcement, to remove the power from the sheriff. But that's that, and that, not a lot you can do about it. Just be more aware, folks. But I can tell you that, a mass shooting once upon a time was, a lot of people, usually, and usually more fatalities. And that's what I'm saying. To be considered a mass shooting, if it was, I think it was 8 or more. It was the only time it really cracked the news. Dead. I'm saying 8 or more dead people. not 8 people shot, not 2
Right.
people dead.
Right outside of Philadelphia, and when the brothers shoot each other down there because they owe each other money for drugs or whatever, if somebody pulls up, no, I'm being dead serious. If somebody pulls up and shoots the corner up and 3 or 4 people get hit, it will come on the local news in Philadelphia as a mass shooting. Now that's just incorrect. A mass shooting, that indicates that there's no motive, that the motive is just a crazy person and he most likely shot himself. And you know, that's like you said, that's how they sensationalize this. I mean, Chicago, you know, that's another place where they have tons of gang violence. They have over 400 killings per year. Yet if 4 of them happen at once, or 3 of them happen at once, and 2 other people get hit, they refer to it as a mass shooting.
Well, it's not just that. It's the redefining of different conditions surrounding a mass shooting, like the word casualty. That's my prime example. You know, there are, you know, there's mass casualties. Well, when I was growing up, the word casualty defined a death, not injury.
When did you ever hear breaking news when you grew up before 9/11?
Yeah, you didn't. You didn't.
Did you know that in the military, you couldn't say if you worked in the morgue that it was a death, because only a coroner can take and say that it's a death. So you would have to say we have X amount of casualties.
Yep. But that's what I'm saying. The word somehow got reconfigured and redefined somewhere along the way. Somebody decided, let's just call anybody involved in a shooting that's been even scratched. You can be called a casualty in a shooting if you scratched yourself on a branch on a tree.
The difference between a mass shooting and a mass casualty event is there is the motive, like you said already, but they oversensationalize the mass shooting aspect, because if it bleeds, it leads, and it promotes ratings for their dying networks.
So in other words, once again, we're going to look at the press, and that was my offshoot when I started talking about this earlier, was that, you know, between the press and the politicians, you know, folks, we got a big problem in this country, a big problem, because they're getting you wrapped up, and not just that. And I think Jason and Rafi will definitely agree with me. Probably Phil. Mark's over there shaking his head, so I know where Mark stands. I see you, Mr. Edworthy.
No, sorry, I was just thinking about the word casualty from a British perspective, and I think, as far as I understand, casualty just means somebody that has been harmed.
Yeah, see, maybe we took on the British perspective somewhere along the line, because here, if you said casualty, and I was, again, y'all know that I worked in the medical industry. If you say casualty, that is death. That is, we are getting body bags.
In terms of etymology, it really is refreshing to hear folks from England, you know, who invented the English language, use it correctly. I'm just saying, because before I got into Jordan Maxwell and really started to get an understanding of Latin and Aramaic and whatnot, and I learned things like mortgage, for example, like the mortuary, gauge, meaning grip. It literally means your death grip. You pay your mortgage. Things like that. It kind of goes down that avenue when you hear the actual words, like rhetoric, you know, full of rhetoric. You know, I don't know. It's just it's refreshing.
Dude, you know what's really sad? We've been lied to so much, and so much is changing so quickly that we are all like becoming experts in etymology just to freaking understand what the word is really supposed to mean.
Well, you have to be. Real quick, KRS-One said this. If you don't have the nuance in English in order to think your own thoughts, if you don't have the words, if you don't have the vocabulary, you can't think your own thought. You can't express what your own thought is, even to yourself, much less somebody else.
He's absolutely correct.
And you sure You sure as crap don't deserve a CDL license to drive a Mack truck if you can't speak English.
Oh Lord, we had this conversation last week because I flipped out the way I always do.
It
And say
happened again.
Why do we give our driver's license tests in 72 different languages? Tell me how that makes any sense when our road signs are in English. And if you cannot speak English, you most certainly cannot read it. So why are they driving if they can't read our road signs?
Aren't most of your road signs pictures, imagery, rather than
no. Tell that to the idiot in the middle, in the center lane, driving down a highway, and they've got to turn down a certain street, and they can't read the street name because they can't speak English, or they can't see the sign that says road construction up ahead and can't read English, or merge. They can't read English. I mean, it's a problem.
They don't know the separate effect, and they completely ruin a lot of the reason why a lot of these cities like Charleston here, there's so many people coming in, and a lot of them, if you go to the DMV, they're foreigners. They're coming in, and they're coming in, get papers, and they don't know the road. This city in Charleston has been a quiet sanctuary city for the longest time. So they've been giving these people licenses for the longest time. And I was the victim of that a couple years ago. And I got wrecked because somebody didn't know how to go when the light turned green. So I was a victim of that. I feel personally attacked when people talk about how they disagree that everybody should be able to drive even if they don't speak English and all that. We should be, the world is peace and all that stuff. That's all it is. And I really do feel personally attacked with that conversation when people pull that stuff on me when they talk with me about that.
I think my point is too, again, one of the other segues with that is that, on the federal level and on the state level, our support systems for, the poor, the people who are in the poverty level, basically do you guys remember when Trump ran the first time and the election issues at that time? It was about public support being given to illegals and how that could never happen. And I remember Hillary Clinton saying, they will never get welfare. They will and they were already getting welfare. Raphael can attest to that. He was ICE. Yeah. I mean, the fact is that so they go to our public places, they go to the units where you get food stamps and SNAP benefits and everything else. They can't speak a lick of English.
And they teach them how to do it. And they have translators there to help them learn how to do it.
Why are we providing translators if you're supposed to be an American citizen to get these benefits? It goes beyond the pale of insanity.
Sanctuary cities.
The reason why they're doing this. They're doing it because the politicians are using these illegal immigrants to do their dirty, be a part of gangs, and fight their wars for them. And that's exactly what they did in California. At 318, they called on the 318 group. I forget the name of the 318, whatever. It was a name associated with 318. And they had them go out and fight ICE off. And the politicians were calling for them people to go out and kill these people that were trying to protect this country the way it should have been protected all along.
I don't disagree, but
border stuff we've had for
it's
years.
Not just open borders, though. The open borders initially was about I'll tell you, and Rafi, when I first said it, Rafi said, no way. And I was like, I'm telling you, they're doing this so they can build a military that will fire on the American people without even questioning. Why? Because they don't have family. They don't have blood. They don't have roots here.
You
bring in a bunch of, there's no ties to the people. So you bring in all these
agents with pistols now.
Have you seen the news? Have you seen the news in Mexico? Been paying attention to news? What's going down in Mexico?
No.
Mexico.
Which
Mexico is now like getting to the point where they are not allowing people from Venezuela and all those southern countries to go and migrate to their country because they don't want the people there, because there's too many people there in Mexico now, and they're stopping there, and they're Claudia Sheinbaum is saying, "Oh, we need to help these people. We need to help these people," and she's really playing it off like everything's fine down there. Meanwhile, the cops are helping the cartels and kidnapping people for stuff going on down in Venezuela, and help there, and it's a mess. It's a mess.
Well, Mexico. I was going to say Mexico and Venezuela are linked at the hip, and it's something I pointed out the other day on my Facebook because I questioned. And Raphael said to me, I said, I know it might sound far-fetched, but that's how my brain thinks. I am way outside the box a lot of times.
You're not.
But I was like, in my mind,
you're not out of the box on this.
Well, here's my thing. What a lot of Americans don't know, our military is knocking on Venezuela's door right now. We've sent battleships down there because we're going after them. But I don't think it's about the oil. Everybody says, oh, it's about the oil. It's about the oil. I'm like, it's not about the oil. I think it's about the freaking telescope.
No.
I think it's about the telescope up in the mountains because it's been protected there for a long time. And let me tell you something. We're talking right now. We just, in the past few months, we've had an object, an interstellar object that they're saying is not natural. Okay. And a lot of experts now have looked at it and said, no, it doesn't appear to be natural. It's moving too fast and it's changing directionals. And it's actually it's coming right at us. So they put that out. Of course, let's pull the horn. Let's scream panic because we don't know. But what we do know is that here, let me finish my thought process. What we do know is that we have been warned. Serge Manasse warned us about Blue Beam over and over. We know we have the technology to do a mass holographic event. We know we have the satellites up there to project the mass holographic events. We know this is, and where would be the best place to do these from? The observatories. Why? Because they're high up and they can the signal will reach a lot faster.
And they can reach a lot more people using TikTok and these other different sources. Not Facebook, because Facebook
I'm not so much saying about
information like those other.
But I'm not saying about broadcast. Not on radio frequency waves, not the way you're thinking broadcast. I'm thinking rebroadcast as in a refraction, as in other words, bouncing a signal up and bouncing it back down. And creating holographic images that people will 100% believe are real. I mean, because
here's something too. Even when I was stationed in Panama, the CIA would always go down to Peru and Ecuador because of those sites. All right. But it's bigger than that because they're all HARP type sites.
Mm-hmm. And Arecibo got taken out during Trump's administration. And I'm like, I said, guys, don't you remember, Mark? I think I actually did a show. They went a couple years back, and Raphael will remember it because I pointed it out because I was like, what the hell is going on? Not one, not two, but 4 different major observatories went offline at the same exact time. One of them was our national observatory here in the States, and they blamed it on a scare at the post office at the site of the observatory. Okay. Shut the whole observatory down for like a week.
Yeah.
Right. At the same time, simultaneously, the observatory in Venezuela got shut down. The observatory in Chile got shut down, and Arecibo got shut down. And nobody was like questioning. I'm like, why is nobody questioning why all these observatories are down at the same time?
Do you know why? Do you want to know why all those observatories are closing down? It's not because of any kind of alien invasion or whatever. They are building the Iron Dome, and they are basically going down all these different telescopes and all different.
That's actually a very good theory, because you're right.
They're doing they're field tests right now.
Oh, Phil, I want you to participate, but you're killing me, man.
I know it's your audio is going in and out, so we're getting like one word here, one word there, and it's horrible because what you're saying is great. It's just I'm piecemealing it together, and I know you pretty well. So it's working for me, but I'm sure my listeners are like, "Oh God, we really want to hear what he's saying," because it makes sense. Well, there you go. It's kind of random.
No, there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, what?
It is.
Yeah, it's off again. There we go. Okay, so
hey Phil, just go on standby, man. Listen in.
And yeah, reboot when we go on break.
Yeah.
All right. So what Phil is trying to say, the point he's making is that it's actually not the Iron Dome, it's the Golden Dome, which is this administration's, I guess, Iron Dome type defense system that they're putting into play. And he's making the point that, again, the observatories are pivotally positioned to reinforce something like that, or to create a network grid to enforce something like that. And he's not wrong on that. But they're also pivotally positioned to create a mass event if they wanted to. And
I'm going to counter that, because like the one that they shut down here in the U.S. was only for a few days, and it was supposedly because one of the janitors had child porn on their systems. Why do you shut down? Why do you shut down an entire observatory for child porn, and only for a few hours if you're going to be installing a Golden Dome?
That sounds like complete BS.
Again, I'm with, and actually the one in the States, that was the Solar Observatory. And that one, it was funny because I know a lot of conspiracy people were like, oh no, the sun's going to blow up and kill us all. No, dude. Yeah, it's more like the government is planting stuff. But the thing is again, it makes you question, what were they putting into place? Because all 4 of those observatories went down, and those are the ones we knew about. See, that's the thing. They don't talk like observatories we're not always kept up to date as to what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, and don't forget, right at that same time, archives went down too. The government archives. At the same time.
In fact, I could see Jason's face. Jason, you have to understand. And Mark will verify this. I watch the archive sites vigilantly because they go down constantly. And I'm like, every time they go down,
that's shady. When something goes down, that's when they're shuffling, or when they can be.
Yep, they're deleting history.
Sorry, Nancy, when you say go down, you mean DNS
they go
access
offline
from the US, or DNS or something else?
Well,
they go offline. They clean the dirty work.
It's worldwide. You'll see like the different sites that I keep an eye on show me when they're faltering, when the systems start faltering. In other words, that could be a hub. You know that. It could be multiple things.
We are talking about CND, CDN issue.
Talk about multiple sites. Yes, it will tell me which ones too. But they go down and then they go completely offline. So that's why I said you'll watch it. It'll start wiggling, and I'll be like, "Oh, look at that! Problems." Gassed.
Are you checking via the DNS, or are you checking via the IP? Just out of curiosity.
It's actually a combination. Yeah, you have to. You know that.
Yeah,
so,
I was if you checking by DNS only,
they go completely off. I mean, totally offline, and they go black for like 24 to 48 hours every time. And they come back up, and then people will say, well, I can't find this article, or I can't find that, or I can't. Yeah, because they've now been scrubbed. They're scrubbing archives, and it's become a lot more prevalent over the last year. I will say that. I'm seeing it happen a lot more often.
That Wayback Machine. Apparently that's pretty effective.
Yeah, Wayback.
Why would a platform like that, a content management system like that, need to be shut down to scrub
Because
individuals
people
to
are
eat the
watching.
record.
Why do you think they fear Anons as much as they do? Because Anons watch everything. We watch everything. We're watching everything. So it's like, yeah, we can see when things are not right. We can see when things are getting moved around. We can see when code's getting screwed with. So yeah, shut it off. Don't let us see what you're taking. That would be as a strategist, that's what I would do. I'd shut the whole darn thing down. You can't see crap now, buddy. I'm going to do what I want. And then I'll bring it back up and you can figure out what I did later. That's it. It's the smarter way to do it. Oh, Phil, I love you, Phil. But Lord, we're gonna all volunteer and fix your microphone for you. I swear to God. We can see you. It's a great image, but we can't hear you. But I mean, again, it's neither here nor there. I think we can all agree, and all the panelists here, I respect everybody's opinions. We can all agree something major is afoot. There's an acceleration of events that's kind of almost crazy at this point. It's like, even, we're not looking at DC right now. Did you see where the mayor of DC came out today and basically said that, oh, Phil, I'm going to play this back as a comedy reel. I swear to God. But Phil, just pause till we come off break because all I can hear is I can't hear what you're saying. So when basically the mayor of DC went public today and basically said that, yeah, since Trump brought the troops into DC, crime has pretty much gone to nothing. So it's effective. And the people of DC, over the last 2 days, I've noticed a lot coming out where they're showing the people who live in DC saying, thank God. Thank God. This is, the crime has gotten really much better. And what I think bothers me is that 2 days ago, there was a public announcement. Chris Miller is going after the mayor of DC and several other officials because they were doing what? They were screwing with the crime statistics. And that is another segue back around to, again, you cannot trust our press. You cannot trust the reporting statistic groups. You can't trust any of it because you're only as good as the information that's input. And if they're not putting the crimes in the system or they're downgrading crimes, like I think what they found when they were looking through the files is that instead of reporting these as murders, they were reporting them as like accidental deaths. I mean, to keep the stats down. And like I said to you guys, I was in DC for January 6th, 2021. So was Rafi. And we could tell you what an absolute state of squalor DC was in when we were there. And it was, like I said, it was humiliating. Like I was embarrassed that this was my nation's capital. It smelled, it was filthy. And that should never, ever be. I don't care if you are a patriot or not. Your capital should never be like disgusting. That's what all of our dignitaries see. It should never be in the condition it was in, ever.
Yeah, but Moscow's not like that.
It's not.
It's been like that for a long time.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, let's look at London at the moment.
I was not going to embarrass you, Mark. I was going to be nice. I didn't going to say, look at London, because, yeah, you guys are having some big problems over there. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, I got to take us out for our second break of the evening. While we're on break, hopefully Mr. Phil Summers will reboot his computer and we can hear him. Hang in there, guys. We shall return in just a few more minutes with the Vixen's Vault.
All right, we're on radio break.
Jason and Mark, did you guys see what I put in the chat before the show about the purple light, blue light?
Yeah, just pulled up the paper on the brain circuitry then.
Yeah, because the reason I did that, if you watched the first video, in Florida specifically, and Raphael again will back me up on this because it's something we talked to his brother about 2 years ago. We've been seeing these purple lights, and Tampa is like grounds, like they're everywhere in Tampa. Apparently Orlando also. And they keep telling us on the news because it's bad enough to where a lot of people now are starting to say something, and the power company and the provider of the lights have said, oh well, it was a flaw in the bulbs and they were replacing them, but nothing's gotten replaced.
South Florida, like Miami-Dade or whatever. Nothing out of there.
I haven't seen anything out of South Florida, but I have a feeling, yeah, because if it's in Central,
interesting.
It's most likely in Jacksonville and Miami. But if you look at the research on blue light / purple light, because again, purple doesn't really exist in the light spectrum in a lot of ways. It's more of a blue contamination. If you read the papers, you'll see that. But blue light, they've been messing with blue light for a long time for mind control because of the areas of the brain that it can affect. And in fact, they use it for drug treatment in a lot of ways. And I said that.
Just a heads up, I did have to, earlier, I did have to restart YouTube under a different title. There's 2 lives for tonight. We're on the second one. And Facebook just kind of like gave out on us. So I tried to get it back, but no helping there. So I cut it off.
Okay, cool.
Just to let you know.
I was going to say, are we jumping to another chat here in a minute?
Yeah, we are jumping to another chat. That would be the next logical thing. So give it a second and we will be up and going.
Hey, Raph. Let me get the rest of them in.
Vicky, that was quite a cute thing that you just put in there.
Do you want me to try to add Phil?
Yes, try to add him. We got when I could understand him, it was smart.
I couldn't make out hardly anything that he did.
Oh, then no, just leave it. Just leave it.
Just leave it. And purple light.
I'll just say that we couldn't connect with him. All right.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good. Everybody else on board with that?
Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to connect with them now, but it's not letting me. Okay. I'll see what we can do when we come off a break on our last break. All right.
Rafi and Roger, do you guys agree with that? You good?
Yes.
Yeah. Because editing is going to suck otherwise.
Yeah,
Mark,
he's destroying the quality of the broadcast.
You guys are like interrupting Roger dry humping Vicky's leg. So go ahead, Roger.
What?
Okay, what?
Stop it.
It's a blue light, purple light special thing.
No, didn't we have another person in here besides Phil too?
Jason.
Where's Jason go? Okay, hold on here. Jason, I'm setting you up a link to the other. Yeah, you know. Hold on here. There you are.
Mark is talking. All I can hear is Roger in the background going very softly. Vicky.
Let me resend him the link. I'm really working it tonight, guys. So okay. I hope Jason should pop in as soon as he sees that. Jason, I know you're probably listening over on D Live or wherever you're at. Yeah, I'm trying to get you to join. I sent you the next link in Telegram.
There he is.
There he is.
I was gonna say, Jason, take notes on how.
I knew I was missing someone. All right, so.
But the blue light and the purple lights.
Red
Do you
light, blue light,
remember
green
that?
light.
No, it's from a couple of years
Special.
ago where they talked about that they had them up in Israel, for sure, because of
Yes.
they had the underground. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes, I
And it
do.
does
And I,
it.
yep,
Yeah, it
yep.
repels the genetically engineered life forms if they, horror should get out
That
of the tunnel.
that supposedly don't exist. Those genetically engineered life forms. Oh God, guys.
You've had pictures. You put pictures in those creatures,
Yep.
whatever they are. They're scary.
Wait, who's playing something about Jewish children? I can hear it.
Oh,
Robbie, is that you?
yeah, sorry. It was
These are
about this
so-
rich Jewish kid that requires protection.
Oh, great.
But nowadays, that's all Jewish kids.
Yeah, that's a
I
sad
think
state of
that's
affairs,
going to
too,
be
though.
true.
Hey, man, you can
Okay,
thank Netanyahu for that.
3, 2,
Why you can't have nice things.
1, and you are alive.
That's terrible.
Oh no, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
And on the radio side, right?
Yeah, on the radio. I'm telling
Well,
you,
you
I
can't have
didn't
nice
have
things.
problems until I had minor issues earlier. All right, and then just with one connection dropped, and I got it back up, and then another one dropped, and then I couldn't get it. So and then we had the combobulation, in between your show and Jack's show. Oh my God, it's like crazy.
Yeah, I
It's
thought
got
that
me
was. I thought
thrown
you were
off.
running
It's
late.
got me thrown off my my rhythm.
Oh no!
Yeah, because there is a
We had-
rhythm to what I do on my side.
I was gonna say then
Okay.
we had connection problems with Phil, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
Here's
and I don't know. I mean,
Mm.
It reminded me when we first started, and I was doing this stuff in the road while I was on the job. It was that
Oh
painful.
God. Yeah, that was hard because your signal would drop. It would go up, down, up, down, up,
I've
down.
I've upgraded all our gear, so we don't have those problems anymore.
Other things go up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah, you do.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
Oh no!
like we're okay. Roger's with us. So I'm surprised he
Is that
didn't
a
make
blue
a
light
comment.
special?
Roger's smoking. I guarantee it. He's not
Thank
at his thing
God.
right now.
Not today, Satan.
Not today, so
Not today, Satan.
Oh, I love that.
I'm here.
That is so classic, Roger.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. We've been on track, and I haven't had to call Vicky up to take and do a blessing on the air again. So we've been good. That way,
give
I
us time,
guess.
Mark.
I'm like,
Just give us time. We're working on it.
no. 30 seconds. This is the real 30 seconds this time.
I don't believe him. You just keep
That's
talking.
crazy.
Don't
I
believe me.
don't
You
believe
don't
him.
believe me
Oh,
and see what
yeah.
happens,
The man
Roger.
that cries
Up, down,
wolf.
up, down, up, down. What?
Hey, wait. I heard up, down, up, down, up, down.
That's right.
Chocolate cookie.
Anyways, here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're live and on the radio side right now.
And we are back. Welcome back, folks, to the Vixen's Vault. I am your hostess, the Wiccan Vixen. Today's date is August the 27th, 2025. We are rolling past the 10 o'clock hour here on the Vault. It's been a great show. Unfortunately, we're trying to get Phil back on, but the connections are not quite making it. So Phil, if you can hear me, we're trying. We're still trying to get you back. It's just not, we don't have you here yet. So if we do get you back on, just mute when you come in so it doesn't interrupt in case we're in conversation. All right, but back to the conversation. Why exactly is the U.S. military threatening on the coastline of Venezuela, and what does Mexico have to do with it? Because Mexico and Venezuela have got some kind of compadre system going on there. And again, it's something when I noticed that, and I started thinking, it's not the oil. It's not the oil. It can't be the oil. That's ridiculous.
It's the drugs.
It's not the drugs. It's not. I'm telling you, it's about what is in Venezuela. That's why they did a regime control change out there. I'm telling you, it's what it is. It's the timing All of it fits. But Mexico's placing it, and again, Mexico's just showing, when this president got elected, and I am not a racist, folks, but one of the first things I looked at Raphael, and you gotta understand, shut up, brown boy. I love you. Okay.
You go, Whitey.
So, yeah, I'm there, baby.
Well,
I'm there.
At least he didn't call you that lizard thing.
Please, Jack. That's right.
I know. And he calls me a racist. Really? Okay. So basically, when she got elected, one of the first things I did was look into her, obviously because of her last name. And I was like, she's Jewish. For the love of God. The Mexicans have elected a Jewish person as their head of state. That's interesting. Doesn't happen very often. So what's her connection to the deep state, the New World Order? And you start looking, and sure enough, plenty of connections going on there. So I thought, okay, so she's hand in hand with the cartel. This is basically, they're putting their power figures in play to try to segue in to that one world order, New World Order type of scenario. And Mexico would be a primary place. Why? Because Mexico right now is the actual superhighway for any indigent and idiot that wants to get into the United States. That was only stopped by Donald Trump. Thank God Donald Trump got elected, because if he had not been elected, we would have been in even more serious trouble. But the fact is, at the rate of almost, 10,000 a day at one point coming across that border during the Biden administration, 10,000 people a day. Mark, think about that. You guys are having a hard time in England because of the balance over there and the amount of immigrants you're getting. Think about 10,000 a day coming, and that was what they could count. That was not the ones that were coming from north to south, number one, because we were getting them from Canada too. A lot of Chinese coming in through Canada.
But remember, your country is a lot larger than Britain. A lot larger than Britain, so...
Yes, a lot more places for them to hide, unfortunately. But again, 10,000 a day. And our economy, people kept saying, oh, the economy's great. No, the economy is horrible. And it was getting worse and worse and worse. And even under Trump, I'm going to say, Trump is playing the game. He's playing the game. He's playing it out. So people, I'm thinking it's a trap. He's giving them what they want, letting them see what they want to see. But really what's happening behind the scenes is not what they want. Because again, our economy, 45,000 on the stock market. What kind of crack is everybody smoking? It's inflated numbers, and it's based off really bad deals and really bad contracts and money that doesn't exist. It's pretty simple. It's all going to implode. There's no choice. It has to implode because it cannot sustain. I mean, Florida's getting a whacking right now. Why? Because our housing market, it's getting absolutely destroyed down here now. Why? Because they inflated it to something that was not sustainable. Not sustainable. So again, everything is happening for a reason, and I do believe they are putting other monetary systems in place as basically placeholders to take over. I do believe, again, I say it every week on this show. This internet that we're on, it's going to be non-existent within a year. It's going away. They're going to replace it. And I'm telling you that just from all the stuff I've seen. I'm gonna think so I don't think it's gonna be quantum. Everybody keeps saying quantum. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be more blockchain related type systems. It's gonna be damn near impossible to hack. But that's needed.
Never say never.
Again, you can't say never, because the people that write it, code it, and build it.
Especially with AI too, they'll have AI possibly cracking codes in a year, 2, 3 years.
Putting too much emphasis on so-called artificial intelligence. When you look at the extent of the World Wide Web, you aren't going to expect every single company, every single internet site to change over protocols or change over.
Yes, absolutely. They're going to have to take it down.
It will happen.
Mark, they're going to have to take it down. They're going to take it down.
It'll be the new internet will be MySpace 2.0.
That's going to cause major.
You're gonna make your site on a closed operate on a closed internet system. It's not even
Yes,
going to
Mark,
be internet.
it's going to cause major chaos. But let me tell you, it's gonna.
This is why we need to have a conversation on the dark web. I mentioned this before, but people have this misconception of what the dark web is, and all of this restrictions you guys are talking about. That's going to force you into what will be known as the new dark web. Everything that you're doing right now will be on the dark web, and you'll be criminals.
Server projects such as I don't know what Microsoft calls it. No, their old ISS and Apache and Nginx.
Yeah.
Well, number one, let's not even include Microsoft in the package, because Microsoft, they're a big problem, a huge problem. And
so we're going to have to learn a new, languages or platforms, right?
Well, I think it's not going to be what you think. I'll put it that way. It's not going to be what people think. I don't think you're going to have the type of hands-on what we have now when it comes to being able to develop. But I do think there are people that have been building it that are fully versed in what it is and how it works. I'm not one of those people, obviously. But I do know from a technical aspect and from a professional aspect that what we work on right now is nowhere close to safe. And it's nowhere close to what you think it is. It is literally a giant trap. And it's been set up as a trap. It has been utilized as a trap. It was built as a trap. And that's what people don't understand. We cannot continue in the state that we're using. Right now, there's more crime committed on the internet that y'all aren't even aware of that is not stoppable.
And the crime scam. The scam.
Being allowed.
Yeah, goes back to
not just scam. It's not just scams.
Everything.
What's the internet?
The series of episodes that me and Roger did a couple weeks ago. Arguably, individual platforms can be considered as being not safe. But to label the entire web or the entire internet to be not safe is a bit
It's
silly.
Not safe, Mark.
It's
not.
like saying that roads are not safe.
They're not.
What's an IRL?
The road.
What's
the
an
road
IRL?
outside my house,
What's an IRL?
I know it. IRL.
Yeah.
UL.
Deny RL. That's funny.
Sorry, going back to my point. The road outside my house, I've never heard of anybody getting knocked over on it.
Well, okay, so roads are not safe, though, inherently, because you can't control everything on the road. You get on the road, you're in control of what you're doing.
The road is not safe because some of them have accidents.
Yes, but what is the internet? What have I always said to you? What do I call the internet? I call the internet the what? The information superhighway. That is what I've always called it. Why? Because it is like the Autobahn of information. And you can drive safely on the Autobahn if you want, or you could drive recklessly on the Autobahn if you want. Because there's really nothing to stop you. It's the same thing with the internet.
In theory, that is what things like the recently approved or enforced UK Online Safety Act and
I saw that.
The EU online market.
Yes, but what does that do? What does that Safety Act do? Think about it.
He's into
because
regulations.
If you think that was put into play to help keep your children safe, or help keep you safe, or help keep sexual crimes from being committed, or pornography from being distributed, if you really think that that's why it's there, Mark, I love you, but you're an idiot. That is not why it was put there.
That's one reason. Or at least that's the public.
That's the public given reason.
Yeah.
But the actual reason is so what? They can stack and track everything you're freaking doing.
Regulation
and
is
shut you down.
Shut you down, dude. You know what? And everybody has a hard time with believing it when I tell them that freaking ARPA is the one who created what we know as freaking the internet. today, and ARPA is freaking the first name that was given to DARPA before it changed.
Yep.
Okay, and even I hear these people who are supposed to be into freaking conspiracies and freaking paranormal talking about DARPA, and they have no clue that it's the internet. It's not.
Yep.
It's not all about this fascinating, mysterious underworld freaking organization. It's the freaking internet. They're the ones who did all this stuff into space research with NASA, all of it. The internet.
All the transhumanism research, that's
And
all
the
everything.
technological wing of the Pentagon.
We are
basically.
talking
Yeah.
mainly about the web here, not the internet per se, but the World Wide Web, which was created mainly through CERN and mainly European and especially UK taxpayers' money.
Well, and here's the other thought. Here's the other thought process. This is where I'm going up with it, because I really do believe we are on the verge of being given information that they've had for a long time, but I think they're about to release a different source of energy besides electricity. And that alone, and I keep saying that's another reason why I keep saying, yeah, what we're using as the internet is not going to be what we use in the future. It's this within a year. I'm telling you, it's gone. It's gone. And we are going to have. I'm telling
stopping any one of us spinning up a web server now, except for technical acumen. But what's stopping any of us getting the computer, sticking I don't know, a copy of Apache or Nginx on it and spinning up our own web server?
Nothing stops you from doing that. But what's going to stop? The fact is if they make it so you cannot do anything unless you are on their form of internet. You cannot bank, you can't buy food, you can't get gas, you can't get water, you cannot live unless you're on their grid. And that's, I mean, they're already here in the States. They've already tried to do the, on grid, off grid shit where, you have to have smart boxes. That was their first smart boxes for your power. And basically everybody, even if in Florida, you cannot not have a smart box on your property. You could have, if there's any kind of a structure on that property, including an RV, that can provide a roof over your head, you have to have a smart box on the land. You cannot live off the grid in Florida. You don't necessarily have to hook to that smart box with your power, but it's there. And I always say, well, why do you, okay, guys, so you think if it's just a smart box, what harm can it do? Why do you think they would put just a smart box on your damn property? Y'all do not understand the technology that's in the smart boxes. You really don't. It's called a smart box for a reason.
No, it's just a monitoring station.
No, it's not, Mark. Not here. I don't know.
Okay,
I mean,
I don't know.
Do you remember in Boston, sometime around 2012, there was, and this was on like the regular local news up there, something like 100 house fires. Some of them were actual explosions, but others were fires, and they brought their cameras by and they filmed some of the stuff. And some of them had melted down the side, like, the siding, etc. And they had melted down the sides of the homes that, thank God, they didn't catch on fire. And then some of the other homes were completely lost. That was, pretty telling.
Actually, the Maui fires, there's been conjecture and theories all over the place that the Maui fires were started conjunctionally with the smart boxes, which it makes a lot of sense considering what burned, but it's not just that. Okay, so when 2020 happened and we were talking about the vote rigging and all this and how could they do it? Oh, they weren't online. How could they do it? There was no internet provided, but there was. Because when you start breaking down the actual formation of the smart box is actually connectivity. You can hack into somebody's computer through a smart box, and we proved it. So again, what you think a smart box is and what it actually is are two different animals. And what it's capable of, the invasion of your privacy, the absolute, they can control so many things with it. Heck, you can even your electronics now in your kitchen, your smart refrigerator, your smart this, your thing, it can be hacked. Anything like that can be hacked. Your driver's license can be hacked. Why? It's got an RFID chip in it.
This is what always amuses me about the sort of Internet of Things concept and smart light bulbs and smart fridges and stuff. Why do people need smart light bulbs?
Because they're lazy. Because they're lazy.
You just walk across the room and just flick a switch.
Okay, because humanity, for some reason, at least the current iteration of it, seems to think that it somehow denotes intelligent to prove how lazy you actually are. Oh, look at how smart I'm the Jetsons. I can clap my hands and turn on lights. No, you're lazy. Get off the couch and turn off the lights.
And what happens?
We do like our remotes for the
during
TV.
the Ring Bell or Amazon fiasco, when data gets misused, or if so-called cloud servers are disconnected.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
What's going to happen, Mark? Because why do we allow ourselves to become that dependent on it to begin with? What was the wrong with snail mail? What's wrong with taking notes on paper? Why did we allow ourselves to become so dependent on something that could be turned off in literally with a flick of a finger? Literally.
On another point,
It's speed of activity. It's a lot faster. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a matter of opinion. I created a post, a Minds post, back on August the 4th. That was talking about that back in June, the 19th, June the 20th, the UK Data Use and Access Act came into legislation, which means that over the next 12 months, it's expected to have digital IDs rolled out. So digital identifications. Now, if you think about the Chinese sesame system, in relation to that, your bank account, your internet access, your everything in your life is connected to this identification, then yeah, you can see some major issues there.
They're doing that here too, though. It's been a slow progression here, where they introduce, the Real ID, the Real ID Act, and the Real ID has got like all your most personal information. The DMV has it. Like I said, when the DMV gets hacked, I get very worried, because the DMV is literally sitting on like a plethora of information, personal information on everybody, because you have to provide that to the DMV in order to get a driver's license or an ID in most states now.
Here's another thing. Yeah, the thing about it though is, everything that we've been talking about tonight, they're all indicators of end of empire. Even the whole going gay thing, and those are all found in previous cycles of empire if you look back in history. But as far as the decline of the United States and the world in general, you're seeing, I hate saying it, but Trump is part of they're playing us right down the middle. The left brought in all these illegal aliens. Trump comes in to save us with all these ICE raids. But at the same time, he's using Kristi Noem to go down to the Latin American countries and get them all on board with digital universal ID. It's the Hegelian dialectic is working exactly as they planned. They're going to have.
Well, how else are you going to get them to want to go home if they can't get the money that Josiah will give to them? That's how you get them out of here. But go home and get your money.
No, listen. I'm not saying that they don't need to go home. What I'm saying is, all the things that
we're terrified
all the things that we're terrified of, because all the things that they use on everybody else, eventually they use on us, is what I'm getting at. So all the biometric universal digital ID, that it will be used on us. But not only that, but I was just hearing how there's some leak. So someone was saying that they have unleashed fun vax on us. You remember that from 2005? when they were talking about the Pentagon briefing, where they were talking about how they could do aerosol vaccination, vaccinating religion out of the brain. They call it fun-vax, fundamental, because fundamental religion is what they're basically we're targeting, fundamentalists. But
that didn't work.
That, but they are apparently using it here as well. Why? Because they need total control. They want your government to be your god, and whatever AI they put in place.
Yeah, it is kind of.
AI can't pick up on a spiritual awakening, which is why Looking Glass couldn't get it.
Hey, are we ever going to take a break?
See that? Huh?
I'm sorry, Mark. Yes, we're out of here, guys. We got to take our last break of the evening. Sorry, I let it go over because I got into what Rafi was saying. We will be back in just a few minutes with the last segment of the Vixen's Vault. Hang in there, guys.
You rebels.
Sure, just blame me. Get under the bus, Rafi. Get under the bus.
Bunch of rebels. I kept quiet and I didn't say a word.
We were only. The
2 minutes.
last one was 1 minute behind. This one's 2 minutes behind.
I thought I was right on the last one. I was right on time because I literally took it off at 54, and when I looked up, it was 55.
Now, Mark Tashik has raised his hand. Did you?
Yeah, when I raise my hand, I'm like,
oh, dude, I can't. Okay, so you know what? Try to put your hand like against your camera because I'm in camera. I'm in camera mode. I can't see the chat.
Speed it up. Let's go.
I could see. Actually, I could see you doing that. I thought, what's he doing? Manja.
No, and then I kept going like this, putting my hand on.
Are you saying manja as an
no?
I
said manja as an eat.
I was getting.
Italian mothers do. Manja.
I was getting a whole different picture whenever you were putting your hand on your head. I was like, he just can't believe these guys are talking this crazy stuff.
No, I know that they'll talk that crazy stuff.
All right, so
just rebels.
Can everybody who's on the stream see you, Mark, or is it just us? Because I was just to say, just flip us off, and I'll know right away.
Everybody can see me. I have the camera on, unless you turn my camera view off on your end.
I was just gonna say, just flip me off on the camera. I'll be like, okay, break that.
Don't do that.
No.
Well, I didn't know if they could see you or not. It was
that is
the one symbol I'm going to stop and go, oh.
Or you can wave your Gandalf pipe around like
where's the Gandalf pipe? I want to see that. I love that pipe.
I took my pipe out to go, no!
See, you know what you guys are really talking about, though? This stuff reminds me of that crap that happened with Czechoslovakia back before World War II. Every single thing you guys are talking about reminds me of this stuff. I've been having to go back over it, but it's all the way down. Especially with...
It's crazy because you're right. You're right, Roger. And... I know what you're talking about, and you are right. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I know I still stick behind the fact that, there's going to be new systems that emerge out of this. And I am a person who 100% believes that it's probably going to be the countries we see right now are not going to be the same. You're going to have it split in 3 different directions. You're going to have Russia take a chunk, China's going to take a chunk, and we're going to take a chunk.
7 different directions.
I don't see 7. I see
7 kingdoms. No, there are 7 federations. They're supposed to be. And they all have different nodes.
I get where Ralphie gets upset.
What's that in Game of Thrones too?
Yeah, but they always say that their television is basically a soft sell. It's a soft sell for what's coming.
Yeah, it is because it's resonance.
Could be right, but I can't see it being done in such a quick.
Oh no, but it's been happening, Mark.
I know why they're. See, I'm surprised we haven't invaded Mexico yet. All right. I want them to invade Mexico and take that crystal cave that they got down there and make it into like the quantum computer central for the world. All right.
Well,
and then we can have some real AI and my artwork will get fantastic. And we'll have awesome shows that will always be crystal clear because it'll be from crystals.
My God.
You know what though, dude? I get where Ralphie gets really uncomfortable with all this because he really is when it comes to anarchy.
Here we go.
I could define him as an anarchist.
No, this we had Brent Hamachek on at the beginning of the month on John's show, Censorship Sucks. And he was like, we should have Al-Qaeda at our border instead of Mexico because they would be better, neighbors. Than they would know what to do and what not to do, and we wouldn't take that kind of crap. So, we got less than 30 seconds.
I was gonna say, but
he's like, I'll vote for Trump for a third term if they do that, if we invade. But he's very non-combative about everything else except for that.
Paramilitary structures right there.
4, 3, 2, 1, and you are live and back on the radio side right now.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the last segment of the Vixen's Vault. We always have wild and crazy breaks. For the first 2 minutes of the break tonight, my producer was giving me absolute crack because I was late taking us out to the break. My bad, Mark. My bad. I get involved in my conversations and I don't have Dave Championi here to say, break. So, my mistake. I got to apologize to my producer who's here every week busting his butt to make sure our shows are airing correctly and in a timely manner. So please, Mark, really a sincere apology. But with that being said, the break somehow melted down into pre-World War II conditions and then Mexico and then a conversation on another show that dealt with whether or not we should invade Mexico. And it's interesting because when Mark said that, my brain kind of clicked for a minute because I've thought that for a long time. We should have gone into Mexico a while ago because Mexico has allowed for so much that has really caused issues here. And I'm not saying that it's not our fault because Mexican government worked hand in hand with our own government to create these problems.
Right.
The cartels would not
that's
be
exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah, the cartels would not be who they are or what they are had it not been for the United States government.
You're right.
There's two kinds of cartels. The
president.
ones that have U.S. permission and the ones that don't.
Well, even the ones that don't
There you
are
go.
still playing a part. I mean, we have, again, our politicians have really created a disastrous type of situation here and one that's very hard to control. And when you are a citizen in this country, you don't see it like that until you really start taking a look at it. Like Fast and Furious should have woken a lot of people up. It should have shaken a lot of people awake to know that all the guns that they were using, everything was coming directly from here. And that even the terrorists, some of the terrorist acts that were committed by quote unquote Al-Qaeda, I believe, what was the one in France with the journalist, the newspaper situation that got attacked? Those were Fast and Furious weapons that were used.
Come on, Nancy. It started back with Iran-Contra.
Oh, God, with Ollie North. Good old Ollie North, who took the hit for everybody. Good old Ollie. Yeah, and actually G.W. Bush Sr. had his hands in that big time, as he did many other things. But, like I said, folks, when you start examining things, not even decade by decade, year by year, and you look at what's happened and you look at action and reaction over and over and over again, you begin to realize that some of the greatest, most catastrophic events that have occurred because they were planned and executed. And they were done in many ways, not just to take our eye off the ball that we've got major problems within our government, but to allow them to, literally each time something's happened, something large financially has happened behind the scenes. And I always say that, watch the money. Watch the money. Even today there was a mass shooting. I guarantee something major was going on in DC. Guarantee it. Because they use it as a distraction 99.9% of the time.
Was it the IRS or the Fed?
Well, the IRS, you guys remember like a week ago, they said they were going to cut like 86,000 IRS agents, the ones that were brought in. Is that me? Is guys, can you hear? I'm hearing this buzzing. I think it's Mark Edworthy. Mark, you're like, we can't hear you.
I think it was coming from you. It sounded like you anyway.
No, it's you because you're blinking. like excessively.
I'm blinking.
I'm like, what is going on?
I was muted. I was totally muted.
That was weird. It
It's
stopped.
gone
As soon
now
as you
anyway.
started talking,
Yeah.
it stopped.
It's his telepathy. It's
Oh, Lord. But I mean, again, if you look at it, our major, even, 9/11, people always say, oh, 9/11, tragic. Yes, very tragic. Even more tragic, the fact that we had, a crap ton of money disappear from the Pentagon and a crap ton of gold disappear. So, yeah, you're right. Really tragic. Let's just not look at what disappeared. Even,
Right.
Ukraine. It's funny because Mike, oh my gosh, General Mike Flynn, he's been on fire lately. And I follow him pretty vigilantly. And I mean, he outed Ukraine hard yesterday. I was like, oh, geez.
about the biolabs. Biolabs, right?
Not just the biolabs. He went after them for money laundering. Biolabs.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, he was saying that basically, they keep accusing Russia of kidnapping their children. And he's like, no, that's them. That is actually Zelensky and his wife and their stupid orphan thing. And no, they're kidnapping their own children. And I'm like, I'm so glad that we have at least one warrior that is, even though he's no longer a general, I mean, he's speaking out. He's giving it to you. He's telling you this is the information. And no, when we told you all, when the Anons came forward and said, listen, it wasn't about Russian citizenship. It wasn't about any of that. That's not why Russia went in. Russia went in because of the biolabs. They went in because they were level 4 gain of function biolabs buttressing the Russian border. Unacceptable in any way, shape, or form in any universe. And they've been there for a while because why? We had photographs of Barack Obama as a U.S. senator in these biolabs in what was it, 2006?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And you had Lindsey Graham and Chuck, or no, not Chuck. What's the other guy? The
Schumer?
The other white guy there looks like Colonel
the other
Sanders.
white guy.
Chuck
You just
Hagel?
described 3/4 of the
There
day.
you go. There you go. That's the guy.
I mean, yeah. So, guys, it's really, and they pander to the, I don't know how you would say, the cultural sympathy or maybe the guilt of a culture.
Fear.
To do, no, it's not fear. Why did a lot
They
of U.S.
created
citizens?
the culture. They create the culture.
Yes.
They don't cater to it. They create the culture first, and then what they want to do is they want to create that militarized structure. Okay, paramilitary structure is what it's called.
Yeah,
So,
but Russia was supposed to be the big boogeyman.
They've been doing this since the early 1900s, and they keep repeating it over and over again. You're seeing a lot of ethno-nationalist movements take place right now, which is resurging from back before World War II ended.
Well, and it's interesting because you're seeing
everything has to do with your ethnic background or your gender. You know what I mean? Come on, dude. It's in your face.
Roger, it's interesting because, again, historically, if you look at, again, every time we've had a societal change, we have a knee jerk. It happens everywhere. I mean, it happened here. It happens in Iran. It's happened in China. It's happened everywhere. When you make an adjustment to a society, you get a knee jerk reaction out of that society. Usually 99% of that time, that knee jerk is a religious one. So, because what you're doing is you're changing the base fabric of their belief systems by advancing the society. And here, like I said, the Industrial Revolution was that knee jerk. We had the Industrial Revolution. What did that do? Well, that kind of pitted itself against religion, Christianity. So what grew out of that? The evangelical movement did. And the evangelical movement is incredibly strong and incredibly powerful. And they have quite a bit of clout with the government now. So what are we seeing now? We're seeing another change coming. And what do you see? But what are they doing differently this time? They're going after religion. They're going after the Christians. I mean, code was like a test run. Let's prevent them from going to church. let's do this. Let's do that.
A few points on this. Roger, I know you haven't been in the elements for the last couple of days, but you aware of my conversation with Mr. Robot, what was it, last week, in relation to Christian attacks against Christian in sub-Saharan Africa? And in the last couple of days, I wrote about what's been happening in Austria in relation to Shia-based civil contracts being now legally binding, which is arguably against the constitution anyway, but that's an ongoing argument. And in the UK, there is a movement in which wishes to redefine the term Islamophobia, which obviously the Labour government is on board with, which considering the current tensions in the UK, this could aid in further sectarian sort of, or it could further inflame sectarian relations or sectarian tensions.
Yeah. I don't really call it religious. I call it ideology versus realism. You have realism.
It is ideology.
You have realism, which is a cold, methodical, mechanical device that doesn't care what your ideology is. Then you have ideology, which produces nationalism, and that can be used good, and it can also be used bad. It can make you patriotic, feel honor for your country, stuff like that. But if it's used wrongly, it can actually become dangerous and create things like Nazi Germany, you know.
But on vice versa, if you use the idea of globalism, if you use the idea of Marxism, that could result in sort of
it all evolved over time, and this is what we've got. Now we're all sitting talking about genders and bathrooms. Oh, I don't like the idea of having, unibathrooms. I mean, my house has a unibathroom in it. It's been there ever since I moved in, dude. Freaking men and women use it. You know what I mean?
Only 2, 3, 4 people may use your bathroom.
Guests come over. I'm not.
Powder room, Roger.
I'm not gonna let my guests freaking pee their pants. They can use it too.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's not a public open bathroom.
Oh.
But don't forget, Roger will charge you a nickel to 10 cents for every piece of toilet paper you use.
That's true. And
you have to take and put it in the put it in the jar behind the toilet.
Light a match too.
We might the old my grandmother spend a penny then. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is that the governments do recognize the power of ideology, and it's funny because, again, I'm going to point it out, the way the Constitution was set up in this country, we shouldn't be able to have the interference. Like, we shouldn't have an evangelical lobby. We shouldn't. We should not have a Catholic lobby. We shouldn't have any of those things. There should not be APAC. It should not be there. Why? Because religion is not supposed to be commingled with the government. It's
none of the
pretty
PACs
specific.
should be there.
Right.
Yep, I agree. But I mean, it's specific. Why? Because ideology can be very dangerous.
Well,
it's a boon, but it's a bang.
Well, yeah. Nancy, the elites. I just read something today that was passed from a European person. I think it's German, and he said that the elites, they went. That the elites, those people, the cabal, that's an ideology. It's just we don't know about it. So what they went after the Christian nation Russia in 1900 Bolshevik, revolution. So
yeah.
Okay, no more Christian there. Then they, with World War I and II, they went UK and Netherlands and the Germans. Okay, those were Christian nations at one time, but those are gone. But the countries didn't lose their wealth or anything because of the cabal system that was already existed, and that's kind of the
Yeah, but the thing was, is like the
arching.
United States, what
And
most
then
people
it
don't
came to the
understand.
U.S. And then it came to the U.S. And
No,
they're
but
not successful. They weren't successful yet.
But Vic, the U.S. was not really set up as a Christian nation. That's the thing. Like, most of the forefathers were not. They were, a lot of them were atheists. Actually, it's kind of sad, but it's true.
Actually, they weren't. It was supposed to be under. It was one nation under God. Okay, they wanted a Judeo-Christian because that has justice associated with it.
I was going to
If
say,
you have like Buddhists and ever, or a bunch of
God was
reincarnation,
used, but
then
again,
there's no
it was not
justice.
specified. If we were going to go with one nation under God, then we might as well kiss Israel's ass.
Well,
because that would intone we were going more towards the Judeo side, not the Christian.
And it is under a Judeo-Christian, but it wasn't specified. It wasn't specified.
Vicky, I sort of agree with you, but I also disagree with you. Remember that in Russia, even during the Soviet times, there was always the Orthodox Christian or Christian church. And in China, there's several religions. But the point is that you are allowed to, as in China, you are allowed to believe in religion as long as that religion doesn't overstep what the state, or overstep the state. So it has to be in line with the state.
Well, it's not supposed to be, you don't want one, like the Catholic Church, like in Europe back in the day, where that was it. And anything else, it was, you were, Spanish Inquisition time. It wasn't supposed to be that. It was just that they wanted a Judeo-Christian, because of the justice aspect. Because if you don't have the justice, if it's, let's say, Buddhist or whatever, that they're, it was
the moral compass that we're looking for.
Karma.
Correct.
Karma, karma. Well, better luck next time. That doesn't work.
Just the words Judeo-Christian make me laugh. It's such an oxymoron, especially if you have anything to do with the Talmud and where they say, which if I say that on the air, we may get a strike on YouTube, But I tell you what, make it your homework if you don't know.
Mark, you might want to spin up a new YouTube channel.
It's funny because you're right. And again, I saw this thing. I think it was Netanyahu the other day who actually addressed on public television the fact that he said, well, the Jews didn't kill Christ. Yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure they did. Just gonna put that out there.
Well,
because again,
I don't know what Torah he's reading.
They set him up. They
sold
30
him.
pieces of silver.
They sold him.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so you may not have killed him directly, but you sold him into slavery. You sold him so that what you're slavers. Okay, gotcha. But I mean, like I said,
wait, they gave up their homie for money? No, say it ain't so.
Well,
I know, right?
that they were the synagogue of Satan. He even referred to them. I mean, Jesus, he called them that, and in Revelation, they were called the synagogue of Satan.
They would never put money first.
The Pharisees, exactly. But I mean, they were not what the children of Israel was supposed to be. In begin with, they were, the Talmud, the Babylonian, they had all that influence of those Moloch worship and everything. It was their fault. Don't get me wrong, but.
Well, they did.
If you go to Israel as an American Christian, not always, but often you'll get spit at, you'll get heckled. And they try to staple these two religions together with this word Judeo-Christian. It's a trick for the West.
I think it's all fake. I think it's all
when the warp
fake.
happened.
It's just
the early 1900s.
Like
I said,
Satan was a make-believe creature that was invented by Christians because they needed to make sense of how things work. You know what I mean? It's like you take a look at every demon that a Christian claims existed, and it goes back to pagan deities.
Yep. No, not just pagan, Islamic ones too. I mean, whoever their geopolitical boundaries busters
Angels were stolen from the Phoenicians, the good daemon, if you want to be precise. And like, if you really think that frickin' Cupids are a Christian belief, you need to do a little research. You know, on Valentine's Day when you're celebrating your Savior's frickin' rebirth from death, you know, Cupid's just sitting there with that bow and arrow getting ready to pluck you in the heart and make you fall in love with somebody. And guess what? Cupid is a Phoenician deity.
Yeah, they're all Roman, Greco-Roman gods.
No, Phoenician. The same people that everybody who's Christian claims worships Moloch.
Right, the ancient Cana, the Phoenician Canaanites. Right, indeed.
Well, and the people of Jesus' time knew all of those gods. And that my point of being here on this show is to say that, okay, the evangelicals and the Protestants, you know, those people, they don't have that in their church history or church tradition. They don't go back that far. So it's all kind of new to them. They don't have that background.
Here's another thing too.
Guys,
When you're talking about angels too, the depiction of angels with wings really came from the worship of Nike. All right. When you see Nike, she has wings like an angel. All right. And that ancient
on
Greece.
Her feet, right?
But you know, I'm going to leave that go. And if you go further back than that, you can probably even say that Ishtar and some of the other
look at
ancients had winged creatures too, like that as well. I'm going to go back because you got to wrap up the show.
Look at Tanit and his consort. You know what I mean? Like that. If you want to talk about Moloch, talk about Tanit and his wife, his cohort. They were the ones who actually are the ones you're talking about when you talk about Moloch.
Is that It's Babylonian, right?
No,
right?
That's Phoenician.
Okay.
I was going to say, and Marduk was Babylonian. All right, guys, with that, I have got to frickin' get the show off the air before my producer actually has a heart attack right in front of us on camera. Just watch his hands.
Cool.
Just watch his hands.
And we'll have to talk on the angels.
Join us next week for another fun and exciting show of the Vixen's Vault, where we can discuss politics and religion and all the things that nobody's ever supposed to talk about, because we talk about it here and we don't care. We still love each other. We love each other, agree or disagree. All right, guys, with that, I'm out of here for the evening. Join us next week for the Vixen's Vault. I don't have time for everybody to say goodnight. Good night, Sarah. Can everybody say goodnight?
Good night. Night, John Boy. Night, Mary Ellen. Not today.
All right. See y'all next week. Oh my God.
All right, we're out of here. I already got the outro playing, and if we got a few more minutes here before we switch to after show. Who all sticking around for after show?
I cannot. I have surgery in the morning. I cannot stay.
Yeah, I also have some business I need to attend to in the morning. So for the first time, I won't be attending the after show.
I'm doing my satanic rituals and
yeah, you can talk all about that and running naked in the moonlight there, along with Mark Edworthy and how the two of you have some ancient bloodletting ceremony and thing like that.
I'm just gonna masturbate.
Sure everybody wants to know about that, Roger.
I'm just gonna masturbate, dude. That's it. I ain't into all that.
You know, and we don't need your links for Pornhub either or whatever. We're off the air, you know.
Calm down.
Is everybody telling me? So is everybody here telling me that we want to take and have me host out, even though it's pretty early?
I was gonna say I can't.
I do there.
You gonna stick around, Mark? Roger?
Yeah.
Well, I do have to do my satanic worship. That's very crucial to my.
Oh yeah,
Somebody
it's
please
always.
send him baby oil.
Well, that comes. No, you know what? I stopped using baby oil because freaking P Diddy stole that.
Anyways,
you know what I mean? It's like, and then I found out something else. It's called what do they call that stuff? That something glow.
Oh yeah, you talked about
Oh, see
before,
now
yeah.
you did that, and you know what happened? My brain went back to Eddie Murphy's Coming to America.
Yes.
Just let your soul go, Jerry
That's
curl.
what I was
That's
thinking.
what I was thinking.
That's what when I first heard it, that's what I thought too. But apparently,
Just let your soul glow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That was pretty
The
sad.
fact that Jason and I are on the same exact thought process is sad too, because
Yeah.
I know it's exactly where my brain went. I'm like, I'm literally picturing that guy that played the actor that played his competition.
All right,
with you,
MC, do me a favor. On
Yeah,
your switch over to something that I can host out to you on in on D Live. I'm not sure if I'll have some Jordan Maxwell when I come back up, but I probably will later on. And there'll be some from the archives as well as my archives as well, not just the
This might
archives.
take me
And some.
5
Hey, I
minutes,
wanted to
to get
ask
this
you,
going now.
what's Matt Moniz doing lately, Nancy, and maybe we can get him in on the round circle table here that you got. You've had him in. You've had him on before. It's been a while. Maybe we can get Matt back.
She bailed, dude.
She bailed, of course. Right when there was something very important that I wanted to discuss with her.
I mean, you know.
I'll have to shoot her a message later. All right. I will set up the after show for you guys, and just give me a sec. Yeah. Hold on, guys.
All right, give it a second. We will.
I am gonna get going the after show for the Legion of Chaos from Nancy Planetta's show. Let's see here. 1, 2. Roger. I don't know if Vicky's coming in or not, but well, we can. Okay, Roger. Mark.
Cool.
Okay, Roger. I'm calling Mark.
Cool.
I'm calling. I brought Vicky in just in case she can come in here. All right. So let me set this up. Oh, okay. It's looking good on my end. All right. And while you guys are going there, I'm gonna. Sure. How you been, Mark? You've been out of pocket for a couple weeks.
I don't know.
What have you been up to?
Well, yeah, it was just a lot of just multiple different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
not that John guy making you do work, is there? Huh? That John guy?
I'm not sure. John guy?
Yeah. You know, the Ottmans.
Oh, no, I have not spoken to them in this year, actually, I think.
Wow. I thought I thought you were still in with that group yet.
No, I was talking about this the other day. It seems like that most of the staff either walked or were fired from mines. And they are running on what looks like one employed staff member, and which isn't, which is just a community support person, which has been quiet, and it looks like they're letting the platform rot, in effect.
Yeah, I was wondering, it just seems, I know a few people that are just so exclusive to it, but when I go over there, it just seems kind of dead.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
I don't mean, I mean, there's activity there, but it's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Talk. That's what it's about. Stop being. I mean, like, I go on there, man, and everybody's like, "Oh, I love mine so much," but guess what? Nobody freaking ever responds. Nobody makes comments. Nobody talks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still publish posts on mine. So
well, I'm not including you, though, dude.
Yeah, I mean, when I used to make a post on mines in the past, and that I used to get some notifications. Hey, I got folks trying to not listen, but check out my stuff, and I'm like, it doesn't seem to be there anymore.
No, it doesn't.
I'm still getting likes and comments on my content. Not very much, but yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm going to be editing while we talk, but yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. It just seems like the senior staff have, dare I say, given up.
Well, it's more too, like, the people on there too, because it seems like mines, everybody's talking about how much they love mines, but it just seems to be a place where they can dump their media and just move on too. You know what I mean? Like, you'll see crap loads of posts from everybody, but they don't ever interact with people. You know what I mean? Like, when you make a comment on somebody's post, I always make it a point to at least respond to them. You know what I mean? I always have. And,
not all the time, but yeah.
No,
I don't know.
Have you ever found a comment that you made on any of my posts that I didn't respond to?
If I ever made a comment on your posts,
see, lack of interest. Didn't even make a comment on any of my posts, dude.
Pen.
Well, what's the one thing I emphasize every stream I ever do? I tell everybody down in the comment section. I don't care if you talk. You can talk in the chat all you want, have a good time, but that comment section is the most important thing, because you know what? That's gonna freaking boost your viewership like you wouldn't believe, if you could get people in there to actually do the comment section.
I don't know. It depends on the platform. And I would argue not so much with mines.
You take a look at every single video I've seen with good comments in the comment section, and does great on views. Every single one of them.
Again, it's platform dependent, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Well,
but then again, I don't need to make comments, because we speak to each other on a daily, weekly sort of basis. So, but I don't know. You know my background with MindSync. You know how critical I have been of the senior staff members, and my thoughts on the senior staff members.
I get confused with you, though. Because one moment,
what do you mean?
One moment you're critical about them, and then when I start talking, all of a sudden you start defending them and shit. You and Tan both
depend on the subject. Depends on the specific subject. I'm not going to be.
I'm too hardcore.
Criticizing them on every single point.
I'm too hardcore for you two. Is what it is. You two just like get all rowdy with me and stuff. It's like, dude, you know, Bill Altman is a woman.
What?
Yes, he is.
I'll admit that he's not the most damn it. He's not the most competent person.
No, he is straight up a
there.
woman, dude. I've seen his vagina.
All right.
Okay. That was never on mine, so at least I've never seen.
He was wearing one of those tight freaking pants that women wear, and you could see it in the camel toe.
What?
I'm telling you, dude. He was on the beach, and he had camel toes. And then the Adam's apple. You ever notice, like, men are supposed to have an Adam's apple?
I'm going to pick up a picture of Bill Watson.
Oh my God, Roger, you kill me.
Go check his picture out. There is no Adam's apple.
Gone on to his account.
I knew a dude once that freaking pretended to be freaking a woman, and you know what happened? Punched him in the throat.
You can kill somebody that way, can't you?
Yes, that's why I punched him in the throat.
Okay.
How dare you?
No, I've known Bill on and off for what? Coming up to something like 8 years now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a while because 2017 was when he went. He came out of.
I joined mine in October 2016.
Stop it, Roger.
I didn't do any sort of support stuff until mid 2017.
I was getting ready to say. Well, just to make it clear, I was getting ready to say beta. Not what you're thinking, Mark.
Okay. I don't want to.
He was just coming out of beta.
I thought you meant he started his transition. Oh no.
Hey, man, it's like...
I was waiting for you to say that. I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, we are off of a few platforms now. We're on Kick D Live. And where else? We're not on Twitch anymore. Beam. All right. So
I know I need to stop the Altman bashing, because if I do, freaking John Galt will never let me on his show again.
No, he'd be very upset with you.
He loves Bill and John.
Yeah, all of them over there. Yeah, I'm like, look, you know why I don't endorse them? I'm like, why? I said, you don't see them putting tokens in my stream to promote me. Mm-hmm. They have in the past. All right, sure, when we have them on. All right. Mm-hmm. But, that's been, few and far between,
Well, it's cool to hear John on there whenever he came on there and he was talking to John Altman. It was cool listening to him, but that was only because I wanted to get the information on all the crazy stuff, you know what I mean? Because, like, there's a story behind John and mine's too. That's separate from Bill, because he got all religious and shit and started trying to ban people.
Yes, I've got an interesting story about that myself. There was a GitLab ticket a couple of years ago that actually named John. It was created by Bill. He actually named John for falsely banning people. That ticket disappeared.
Oh yeah,
quite quickly.
Of course. I mean, that's kind of why I always like tonight. I had my limit on listening to the religious stuff. Like And it's like, especially when they start mentioning Moloch, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, freaking go and actually read. You know what I mean? Find out where all this stuff comes from. Because, like, these people get all crazy in the head and they start doing stuff. Like, you'll hear a lot of conservatives say that they're against censorship, okay? And then they turn around and they do exactly the same thing that they're against. Like, you know, it's like, come on, man, you can't either shit or get off the pot. One of the two. Don't.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's no way.
Make up your mind.
Right. And it's like,
one thing that just I do like minds for, especially at this present moment, especially with things like the UK in Online Safety Act and the EU Digital Market Act, is that there is no non-US offices for Minds. Minds is solely based in one office.
That's because
and therefore they cannot be dictated to by external country legislation.
Right.
Remember, Facebook, Meta Platform's got offices in the UK, it's got offices in the EU. Cheddar has got offices in the UK, EU.
It's not a building. It's not a building, Mark. It's a basement, okay?
Well, it's a building. It's a part of a building.
It's like the X-Files. They're shoved down into the basement, and they're freaking. they're allowed to do their freaking work down there, but don't come up above ground. You know what I mean? It's like they gave them a freaking television and a couch, and they put a filing cabinet next to the desk, and that's where you stay, and you don't move, and we'll bring you food, and then we'll let your family visit you every once in a while.
That sounds like some of my old IT support jobs I've done.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what all of them are. They're little dungeon crawlers that are trapped in the basement because they got to do their job. And they can't freaking do anything else. And if they try to leave, they get freaking tied up and shoved back down in the basement.
Yeah, shove them back down in the basement. Yeah,
that's what the way they do things to their IT. IT are treated horribly.
Actually, remember that even though there isn't any external officers in Minds, everybody who has been employed by them have been contractors, and therefore, even though they may be working, as an example in Ben's case, in the UK, they aren't actually in a Minds Inc. office per se.
See, that's why you like Ben. I get it now, because he's in the UK.
Well, again, I haven't spoken to him since he left Minds back in last year or early this year.
You like him because he's English.
I knew you guys, man, kill me.
I mean, he's freaking racist as hell.
Who?
Mark.
Who? Me?
If they're not English, he doesn't like them.
That's not true.
He talks. Yeah, right. Like, see, that's the most racist thing you could say, dude. Like, I spend time with you all the time. Yeah, like, listen to you, dude. It's like, come on, dude.
Roger, stop.
I mean, shit, at least I'm open about my hatred of French people.
Sure you are. Mm-hmm.
French and Canadian people, dude. I mean, and
yeah, those
French people got demoted too, by the way. I just they did.
Canadian friends?
Well, yeah. We've got Canadian friends, but and I mentioned this to Naroki too. I was like, dude, you got freaking cannibals up there eating people. Freaking, that's why those fires are.
They're everywhere, man. Those cannibals. I'm telling you.
Well, Canada especially. Like, Because like those fires that are going on up there, those aren't accidental, man. Those are being set on purpose. Whatever's in those woods, they want it gone. Okay? And they're starting the fires and they're banning people from going in there because whatever's in there eating humans, they want it to head back to the Yukon and stay there.
Actually, didn't I see a report about US about people? No, I think it could have been Australia. About recent reports about people getting fined for entering forests.
Yeah, $25,000 to $28,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
If you go inside the forests in Nova Scotia, and for crying out loud, it's the frickin' summer. All right, people go in the woods in the summertime. Well, sure, they want to take hikes and pick mushrooms, cultivate their whatever. But I'm not saying, crap don't happen. All right. I'm just saying,
That kind of makes me nervous because it reminds me of Minds Gaming and Bob.
Minds Gaming.
Yeah, they're all big on this mushroom stuff and like bouncing dragons and shit. Like little baby bouncing dragons and talking about the like kid story stuff and Rainbow Bright. And then you start talking about mushrooms.
That has really some good videos in relation to some fairy tales and stuff.
Yeah, she has.
Sure, fairy tales. Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of grim, huh?
She's kind of going a little bit. She's kind of going a little bit over the boundaries, like you know what I mean. Whenever
you know that wicked witch.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't have gone nuts and off a rocker trying to eat those kids, if she wasn't from Canada and ate mushrooms.
Well, she was from Germany. That's
yeah. I was going to say
those German chicks freaking.
No. She's a transplant. We all know that.
Well, dude, she
came across with the Vikings. You remember that Leif Erikson guy?
Who do you think started Dominatrix, dude? German chicks.
I'm telling you, that little Viking chief that was a midget. All right,
yes.
It wrote on the back. Well, he was the one that fended her off for so many years because that was his wife.
Yes,
he ran away to war.
Yes,
to get away from her.
Freaking, I'm telling you, those German chicks are crazy.
I'm telling you, if you want to tell about stories, I can tell you some stories.
Well, I know.
And don't you dare go running this to Nancy, because Nancy will be, oh my God, I'll have to look that up.
Well, she already knows, like, not to really pay too much attention to me and your conversations when we have our, like, there's no fact checking.
No, she's sticking around because she's going to fact check because Mark's here. We all know this, all right? For crying out loud, Roger.
He gets her blood boiling, dude. Like, he starts talking about freaking bureaucracy and stuff, and she just starts getting on fire, dude. Starts getting all riled up.
You can have the same effect on Nancy. You can have that effect on Vicky, I notice.
Well, those two freaking, the reason why they have that effect is because like they like to talk, and then whenever Nancy and Vicky, and then when they talk, I'll wait until the right moment and I'll attack like a vicious animal from the freaking woods.
Like a vicious animal
from the woods, man.
From the woods.
You know what I mean? Like I'm the leper. I jump in there and I say something that's really profound, and then they get all riled up, their blood boiling, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, I'm gonna kill this dude." Like,
you're killing me, Roger.
That's awesome. It's really awesome. It's freaking. I mean, at least now, I listened to it all the way through. And like a lot of this stuff, I swear, when I hear this stuff, it just a lot of the stuff that I'm doing just sticks out to me when it comes to the research. And it's crazy because everything's repeating itself. You know what I mean? Like there none of this stuff that everybody's talking about is new. It's actually happened. And it's just it's regurgitated garbage is what it really is. Except for
possibly new sort of
nuance.
Yeah, new frames, new methods.
Well, now they have gender identity and stuff like that, and like whenever Nancy started talking about ideologies and stuff, that's kind of where that falls into place. You know what I mean? Because that's all part of well, back in the day it was called ethno-nationalist movements. And now if you add the gender stuff on top of it, it's just taking on a whole new meaning. It's at a different level. It's like ethno-nationalism on crack cocaine.
Actually, I would argue the opposite. This is a much more sort of globalized argument.
Well, I mean, it's okay. The thing about ethno-nationalism, it wasn't just happening in one place. It was all of
No,
these...
I mean globalist. I think cultural Marxism. More of a Marxist framework.
They're the cold, methodical, machine-like entities that don't care about ideologies. They just care about what produces results, and if it means the sacrifices of thousands of people over frickin' in order for progress to be made, they're willing to make that sacrifice in order for progress to be made. They don't care.
Isn't that an ideology in itself?
No, that's cold, methodical statecraft is the best way to a lot of people use the term statecraft these days, and that's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that with Marx.
I think we had a long conversation about this on a stream.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, you know what? I think I'm gonna call it a night.
He's getting ready to fall asleep.
Just yeah, I got a lot to edit out, and I'm like, things are going super slow. So I'm gonna host over on D Live to MC Dirty Work.
Nancy and Vicky are still like chatting in the wrong chat room too. Like they're having a conversation and like we don't want nothing to do with these people.
No, we don't want anything to do with that. And if you're in Kick Chat, we are going to host over to let me look.
I think we did it.
Iron Chief. We're going to host over to Iron Chief. He's been really good with taking and keeping up with us and in the chat room tonight, and he's been helping out chats when I'm not when I'm doing filler stream as well.
Got a Ninja Edge U2.
Yeah.
Ninja Edge.
Ninja Edge is pretty cool, and all the folks that follow us, thank you all out there. I'm gonna call it a night on my end as far as stream goes. I will probably get something up and out later on for filler until Saturday. Not Saturday, but Sunday when I have Censorship Sucks, and we'll have a live radio show then, and Willie will be in. So thanks everybody out there. We are going to host out. I'll keep you guys up here in a few minutes while I take and get the hosts going. All right, do.
It looks like everything actually went pretty smooth, and I apologize about not being able to do censorship on Sunday.
No, that's fine. I mean, it happens.
Actually, I did listen to about half of the show that you streamed earlier this evening.
Who, me?
The on your Praetorian
Oh yeah,
YouTube channel, the censorship show. Show.
They actually the week before was what that one was, and it was actually pretty good. Oh wait, yeah, hold up, I did theirs on the Praetorian first, and then I came over to the Wonderful World of Weirdness and did this.
Yeah, you did that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got confused. Sorry about that, Mark.
No problem. I'm just going to be closing some programs out like OBS and all that to get me some processor speed. Let me see. I'm going to set stuff up for, when I come back from everything.
I just actually did something on CERN too. Nancy and them were talking about it.
I was just reading it.
The God particle.
Yeah, I'm surprised they weren't talking about Burning Man since that's kind of what's been going on this week.
Well, I mean, nobody talks about Burning Man ever since that tragedy that happened. Like, it seems like after that happened, nobody talks about it. Even the religious people used to always, like, talk about Burning Man, and they stopped. Have you noticed that? Like, within the last 2 or 3 years? Nobody talks about it.
Yeah, actually, that show that you were streaming, the censorship, that came up on that.
Well, I mean, yeah, actually, yeah, that is true. They did talk about it, didn't they? But, I mean, they don't really talk about it all that much other than that. I mean, well, heck, even Jack didn't even talk about it, did they?
No, Jack's focusing on incoming from space.
Yeah. It was interesting.
That could be the distraction, though, to keep us away from all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Well, I mean, if a lot of people want to really get into this stuff, they really need to take another look at sex magic.
And rock and roll.
Well, no, just sex magic. Rock and roll it's an unsettling noise that causes problems with the vibration. Okay. But sex magic is where freaking people use sex magic to change things in the environment. And it can actually, if you look at the way things are, like you go and you look at television and you got the beautiful models on the commercials, and then you turn around and you look at OnlyFans and all of this stuff, you know what I mean? That's all sex magic. But nobody's smart enough to figure it out, put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
You know?
True enough on that.
It's like, if you really want to get into it and take a look at it with an open mind, you can see it. It's right there in front of you.
Well, that all leads into chaos magic, too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm not sure about TV, but then again, I don't watch TV that often. It's only when I'm around other people's places. And in Britain, we've got such restrictive rules on what can be displayed and what can't be displayed.
Oh my God! You guys can put more stuff on the on TV and radio than we can.
Yeah.
At times, you know.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say you're less restrictive than us.
You guys
are. Yeah, but there are some things that you just can't do. You know.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. That's obvious.
Going back to that reminds me. Benny Hills had scenes where women showed their boobs, didn't he?
Yep, he sure did.
It was
Yes, he sure did.
Oh, Berkeley.
Uncensored. There were uncensored versions of it, weren't there?
Oh yeah.
I don't think they were ever aired.
Well, I mean, I know they probably weren't aired publicly, you know what I mean? But I do remember freaking when I was younger, there were ones like the part where the girl is putting laundry up and he was being a peeping Tom behind the bush.
It's all more suggestive.
It's always funny when they were chasing them around and you could see, I mean, they weren't even trimmed up, all right?
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, good night. I will talk with you next week or in between, all right?
All right. You guys have a good one.
Too.
Yeah, are we still okay for tomorrow?
Yeah. I got everything set up, all the notes ready.
Maybe I'll jump in with you guys tomorrow or something. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know what's going on yet. All right?
All right.
Okay.
Good night, guys.